It's January 31st. It's the end of the month. This is the EST Hangout presented by Mott's Clamato Caesar, the top Caesar brand in the country. On the Hangout today, Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here, who has his new Hello Hockey little jacket that he's got
courtesy
there.
of Sean Bell.
I would hope so.
Bell's
I hope it's either you or Sean Bell that got those done since it's your guys' show. I will just say that.
Let's be honest, it's probably Lindsay Bell. She's the brains behind that operation.
Well, they look sharp.
It looks good.
Yeah, Thank you.
Absolutely fabulous.
Also with us
Anything
today,
Tommy wears looks good.
Oh, stop it.
You know?
You. I'm just glad you're here. And Marie,
CTV
too.
Edmonton's chief meteorologist, Josh Classen and Marie McCourt from The Ranch, as well as the VIP Golf Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Gents, thanks, Murray. Thanks for coming back each week, as you do.
Good.
And Josh, it's good to have you back with your Knicks hat. And we will do Knicks today. We will do Knicks today.
8 in a row. 8 in a row.
We forgot to talk Knicks the last time.
Yeah, just I'm a Celtics fan though, so
Oh
we're
my
first
God,
place.
the only team hotter than the Knicks, the
Yeah,
Celtics.
so sorry
The
about
Lakers
that,
are going even better.
No, they're not.
4 straight 130 points allowed.
Yeah.
That's bad.
No,
That is bad.
That's
That is
bad.
bad.
Especially
Unless you
for
score-
Atlanta last night.
Yeah. Are you
Unless,
sure?
unless you score 140. If you score 140, it's okay to give up 130.
Yeah, Lakers aren't doing that.
No,
I can tell you that
okay.
right now.
They
so
won
it's
the
not
NBA
good.
Cup. They don't care.
They already got
There's
a banner.
There's
Yeah.
a banner.
That was because
They got
the
their
NBA wanted
championship
that.
for the year.
The NBA pushed for that. To legitimize the tournament.
Yeah.
That's what that was there
It's
for.
so
Like the Lakers
weird.
initially were not going to put up a banner. And it was the NBA that's
Did you guys care about that
I
at
did.
all?
100%
Yeah.
did.
I thought it was
You
neat.
did?
I
So-
actually, for the first time, watched basketball before Christmas.
Wow, it was cool. The different court,
The courts look great.
and things like
Uniforms.
that.
Courts look great.
Yeah, I thought it
Nope.
was cool, but I didn't necessarily have a big interest in it. It was just another game to me. But then when I see the court, like that's kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what changes they make for next year. And I still think they got to give a playoff spot to the winner,
ooh, that
yeah, we
would
talked
be
about that.
good.
right? You guarantee
Yeah.
the top. You give them 6, and
If
you're
they're
in
better,
6
they're
or better,
better,
then
yeah.
fine, no big deal. But if you're in 9, you automatically get
Well,
6.
then that makes it worthwhile. Then,
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
like that. Where that, like for the Lakers right now, it's not good right now. They could kind of rest. Like I guess this would be the argument against it. I was there right now. You could rest LeBron and AD to get them ready for the playoffs, but the NBA doesn't want you not playing LeBron and AD the
If
rest
you're
of
the
the
6
season.
seed, you're still going on the road. I mean, you want to try to get a better seed than the 6.
If I'm the Lakers this year, no. If I knew, if I'm Rob Pelinka and I know that I have a spot,
I'd be resting. AD.
I'd be resting
Yeah.
AD big time, and LeBron would be getting a lot of rest because I'm going, this team's not good right now. We're only winning with LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're not going to risk
You're
any
not
sort
all
of
in on
injury with that.
D'Lo?
He's actually been not bad.
He's been okay.
You know, he's had his moments this season where he's been just trash. But then there's also like the Golden State Warriors game, which was one of the better games you will have seen this year. Lakers Warriors on Saturday.
Even though 2 horrible teams this year.
But it was an unbelievable
It was a
game.
great game.
LeBron and Steph Curry showed up.
I know.
What did you break?
Oh, something.
Something.
Okay. We'll talk NBA later, right? We could talk NBA later.
Yeah. I got to fix something here.
Oh.
Is it
So
a
you
fix
guys
on the
go-
fly?
Yeah, I'm going to fix on the fly.
Okay, I have a question for you, Josh.
Yes.
And when you brought up the give them the playoff spot automatically, I think I would imagine there would be an uproar from other teams. I don't mind that idea. I'm not
I
gonna
don't care
lie.
if there's an uproar from other
But
teams. I think it's a great idea.
But you piss off the most influential owners in any league, and they have enough sway to like shut things down. That's what comes to mind when I think about it. But I like that concept.
What
though.
would the issue be, though? I don't understand because they
You're
have a
taking away
chance to
their
get
chance
that
for a
playoff
playoff spot.
Well, then win the tournament.
I agree.
you've already given every team a better chance by doing the play-in tournament,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't be in the top 10, all right, something's
Yeah.
wrong. Something's wrong. You don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
I get that. I'm like, I would think automatically the cranky old owners would complain.
Probably.
Because they don't want change.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they've already signed off on this.
Well, exactly. So let it
Add
happen.
another wrinkle like a guaranteed playoff spot.
I love it.
No, be beautiful. Hey, you see the SSG investment with PGA today?
I was about to get into that, yeah.
No. What's
So
this?
the announcement has now come with the merger, or the financial details at least with
Right.
the PGA. Because
let's
I'll say
hear it.
this: the average golfer right now is pissed off with everything, and they don't care about the finances of this. They just want to sit there and go, "When do I get to see the best, play
play
together?"
the best again. Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, beyond the majors, you know.
That's not going to happen.
I don't. Is it not? Because what's the point of this?
It's going to just be the majors.
But then what's the point of this?
You're going to have 2 leagues.
Is there going to be crossover?
I don't know.
But so now there's like 3 partners basically that I gather from this PGA deal. There's the PGA, which is going to allow and give some equity to players, upwards of 130 players or something.
200 players right now.
200
Future
players.
Yeah.
So they're going to get,
Okay.
and it's going to vary depending on your ranking. The higher ranking you have, the more equity you're going to get in it. The Saudis pumping billions in, and then 3 sports owners, their groups, have pumped money into this to have a part ownership of the PGA, which is Fenway Sports, which is Red Sox, it's Penguins, it's Liverpool football.
And
LeBron's part of it. They want to bring the NBA to Las Vegas. It's Steve Cohen, who owns the Mets, and it's Arthur Blank, who owns the Falcons. And they've pumped money into this as well. And that's kind of...
Yeah.
I haven't really gone
Strategic
further into that.
Sports Group is
Is that the name?
So this is more than just golf then, if they want to bring a team to Vegas in basketball
No,
or
it's
whatever.
just they own all these other sports entities, and now they're getting into golf as well.
Okay.
So it's this consortium of people that own a bunch of sports stuff, and now
It's now
invested in
yeah.
the PGA.
My first question about this, again, like devil's advocate, would whatever Live is going to become not just become a glorified European tour, essentially?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it's a worldwide tour.
Yeah.
Right? They just signed with Movie Star Plus
Yeah.
for streaming services.
What's Movie Star Plus?
Yeah.
Movie
never
Star
heard of
Plus is a European streaming service.
That-
so that's
Live
where
is
it's
going
like
to be
our
on
Crave
there.
Live will be
something?
on that so that they can increase their
In
global
Europe.
reach. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get Movie Star Plus.
You could if you find it, if you look the right spots.
Somewhere, get a VPN. But yeah, they Mayakoba this weekend.
Wow.
I'm actually really excited for it.
Come on.
I am.
Why?
The Live?
Yes.
There's the Pebble Beach, dude.
Nah.
Wow.
The pro-am of the Pebble Beach this
Yeah,
weekend.
I don't know. It doesn't intrigue me.
Really?
No, I want to see. I want
Why?
to see.
Why? I want to hear why.
I think there's better players on Live right now.
They do have what is
few.
it? 3 of the last 4 major winners or something like that?
A few. But look what just happened on the PGA Tour. Amateur
Right.
That was a great
won
story.
It
a
is-
tournament
that's-
on the PGA
No, I
Tour.
know,
That can
which is-
never happen on Live, and that story is so incredible.
It is a great story. And I'm
Live-
not- I still watch the PGA.
Live's also added 2 wildcard golfers
Yeah.
that are playing that aren't part of a team. Which doesn't make any
I
sense.
didn't hear this.
I just saw that
How-
before the
how
show
are they
today.
playing?
I don't know.
Is that because they need to even out the numbers?
I don't know.
Now they have
This is why
13
I'm so
teams, and So your
confused.
shotgun start is
Right.
messed up. They got to change the shotgun start for Sundays, though.
Yeah.
Right,
Stagger.
so that you, like the PGA, you can watch the leaders go from 1 to 18.
Where are you watching
at the
it?
end.
Where are you watching the Live Tour?
Online or on CW?
It's on CW.
You can watch
or Game,
yeah.
Game Network in
CW.
Canada. Game Network has the official rights of Canada. It's free on TELUS.
No, Legion 13. If I could get merch here, but you can't get Live merch in Canada.
You even have your team that you cheer for.
Well, you know me. I'm a big Caleb Surratt fan.
I'll see if I can get you some Live merch.
See? That's how big of a fan he is.
No,
I
so
know a
Caleb
guy.
Surratt's the guy that signed to. He's a junior player. Apparently, he's amazing. He's on Rom's team. So you got Rom, Hatton, Caleb Surratt, and Kieran Vincent.
You are the
Legion
only guy
13.
I've ever talked to in my life that knows any of this stuff.
I know.
I've
I know.
never had.
That's 'cause
And you're
I
around
listen-
the golfers.
I listened to the podcast.
Yeah, he's big on that.
I watched some of the cliques. They've got a web show on YouTube, behind the scenes, kind
okay.
of.
Early on, once the VIP golf show starts up, you are coming on,
Sure.
Yes.
and we're gonna have a big talk about Live and why it's appealing to you, because it's not appealing to hardly anybody. But I would love to, on the show where all the listeners are golf people,
Sure, yeah.
and you can explain it, and you can debate with Stalker and I the merits of Live.
It's
and
incredibly entertaining. The
I
only
can't watch
thing
the broadcast.
is the
The
broadcast
broadcast is
needs
too
to
awful.
improve. Agreed. The broadcast needs to improve.
That's a hard one for me.
And I don't know why you would dump that much money into a league like that and not have a better broadcast.
Because it's hard to. It's hard to find great broadcasts. Like,
You
like
can't-
the behind the scenes.
You couldn't
people.
go and you're throwing all that money at golfers. You can't throw that at some producer.
No, because that
From
doesn't appeal to them.
CBS?
Yeah.
That doesn't appeal to the top people. They
Money
want the
appeals
stars.
to everybody.
Yes.
No, but the top people don't want to spend that money on those people, right? They're who are those people? Those are behind the scenes. We want to spend the money on the
They
front-facing
have
people.
so much money that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They can pay.
But they pulled the special flights for the golfers and their caddies, and the last year they were spending less money on the other people.
Right.
That they're not going to go spend on this broadcast because you should just want to watch
'Cause
these
those
golf
teams,
players.
Those teams have to pay for it now because they're teams.
Right. So
So
like
you're
they're not
responsible for paying for your teams.
We're not going to see them like. I just would struggle. Like they should. That's the smart move.
Right.
When you have all that money, but they just seem like they want the Cristiano Ronaldos of the world. They want somebody that they could put in the camera and be like, look at this, come watch them.
Spend a bunch of money, get
David
Faraday, and then surround him
You
with a bunch
go
of
get the best
Whoever's.
producer in sports broadcasting right now. No one knows who that is. No one cares in a sense of top of mind. The result would be big
Right,
because
that's
they'd
why
be there.
it's
but no one,
irrelevant,
but
their name or
they
who
don't
they
seem
are.
like they
It's-
want. That doesn't seem very what the Saudis are trying to do. They want to go get the biggest people that everyone knows.
But if they want, the broadcast sucks and they want to get more Josh Classens on board and watch it, they need to
They don't
up
need
their
more
game.
me. They need more Murray McCourts
Well,
on
for
board
sure.
watching it. So
Well,
what
they
would
already
convince
got
you to
you.
what
Well,
would
before you
convince
do that, I
to
just
watch
want to
it?
add 2 wild card spots to get to 54. So there's 13 teams of 4 players and 2 wild cards.
Right.
That's going to happen in the live
They
schedule.
play in
moving forward.
threesomes. So I'm trying to do the math here. 60, yeah. So they have to play in threesomes
Yeah.
because 54 is 18 threesomes.
Yeah.
So there's one group of 3 on every hole.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, you can't have more than the 18 groups. Because
you
everyone's
could.
on the course at the exact same time.
Sure you could.
Yeah.
Get rid of the shotgun start.
Well, I mean, if you are on any golf course in Edmonton on a Saturday afternoon, there's a heck of a lot more than one group on every hole. That's 72 golfers. So there's always way more than that on a golf course. Yeah, I mean, can slow the pace of play down and things like that the more you have. But
And that's why I think that'd be the other thing for them is they don't want, they have a time commitment now. They're wanting a window of broadcast,
Right.
not to go longer.
so how long is it normal pace of play then with threesomes, one group per hole? Is it under 4 hours? It should be.
Oh, it's well under 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think most of their broadcasts are 3 hours long? 3.5 hours?
I honestly,
the
I was
full-
guessing. I thought
for the
maybe it'd be
full
4
18?
because
No, I think their goal is to be under 4 hours so that
That should
people
be
can
it.
be in and out.
Yeah, and it should be.
The
And for the
fans
broadcast
on
and everything like
site are not there all day. People aren't tuned in all day long to watch everything.
So back to Clausen's question though, what would it
Well,
take to
I
get
can't
you
buy into
or
this
you or
team-
I into
team
the
I
league?
have
garbage.
watched a bit.
Golf
what
is an
gets you into it,
individual
yeah.
sport.
Sure.
It's you against everybody else in the field, and the best man wins. I mean that each week, and that's
But the best man does win on Live each week.
right. So
And then there's
this
also the team.
There's 2
component.
parts to it.
Yeah, and I can't buy into the shotgun starts very much either. Like when you go play golf, do you want to start on the 13th
No,
hole?
I agree. The shotgun starts are not great.
It's terrible. Like if you are a player and you get stuck with your first hole being a 235-yard par 3, ouch! That's a massive disadvantage.
Yep.
Point.
So I
you
I
wanna
get it. The
know-
weather's the same for everybody. We talked about that a little bit
Yes.
before when I was in Hangout. So I get that, but man,
From a
I don't
viewer's
know.
perspective, you want to know, all right, they've got, I know what 15, 16, 17, and 18 look like.
Yeah.
I know what they have ahead of them.
Right.
Whereas if you do a shotgun start, the 4 holes that the leaders have ahead of them are all completely different.
Right.
So,
hypothetically, you're looking at the Masters,
right.
and because we all know Augusta,
We know,
Yep.
yeah.
you get to Amen Corner, and they say the Masters doesn't start until the Amen Corner on Sunday. If you're there in a shotgun start, only a couple people are playing legitimate Amen Corner,
Yes.
and it comes down. So it's totally different. And
Yeah.
so I get what you said.
I think they should go
Sunday.
Sunday
You do
reseed.
that and go off a number 1 in tee times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you wanted to make it a little quicker, you could do a little half back 9 shotgun start for the bottom half of the field. And once they get through 1, so you go 1 and 18 back to 14, 13.
He's got it figured out.
And then they get through.
It's like he runs a
And
golf
then-
course or something here and deals with tee times all the
then
time.
you get the back, like say the
put that on
last
the table,
7 groups.
We don't care.
The last 7 groups then follow them off of 1, and so they're playing
Right.
1 through 18. So the ones that aren't in contention can do the shotgun start, and yeah,
And then you-
But then the other part of live is that they're also, because of the team part, you're always kind of playing in contention. That's their trying to goal too with the team, is that your shot matters to the very last shot because it's for the team.
Oh, but only 3 of the 4 count.
Do they?
Yeah.
What's the?
See,
So
I
it's
know.
kinda
It's
weird.
just like rolling
That
your
part I
eyes
don't-
in your head. Like this is like me watching rugby or something. Where I have no idea what the rules are, and I just watch these people go around and smashing into each other, and something I don't know what's going on.
Rugby sevens is cool at the Olympics. I enjoyed that, but I couldn't tell you most of the rules.
Yeah. So like this is
But golf,
too
it's the
confusing.
same.
Golf is simple.
It's still golf.
Well, is it? Because you got these silly teams and stuff. Like hit the ball, find it, hit it again, and get it in the hole real quick.
That is what they're doing.
But then they have teams, and you're relying on what I don't want to
But do
rely
you
on
watch
him.
the Ryder Cup?
Oh yeah, but it's not my favorite.
Okay.
Really?
It's not my favorite. I know you love
I
the
love
Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I'm a big Ryder Cup fan.
Yeah, a
I
part
got
of it-
sucked in the Medina one. It just sucked me in.
Yeah,
The comeback.
remember we were here doing
Yes.
the VIP golf show. What was on here, and we're doing the show live, and you're like calling us. Oh, you're never gonna believe what just happened. And then we go to a commercial break, and Stalker and I are running out, and like, and then we
Jeff
get
didn't
back,
care. Jeff Walker didn't
Yeah.
give a damn
Yeah.
about any of it, but because that looked like it was going to be on a European destroying them,
Yeah.
and the
After
Americans
they won.
made it
Yeah.
really close on that final. There was a point where I'm thinking, oh my god, they might do this.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
And the reason that the USA was so far behind is because of the team, and they had no chemistry and all kinds of stuff. I think.
Yeah, which is good.
Okay,
That's another interesting.
But so in
aspect to
that
it.
event, it is only teams. There's no
Whatever's
individual.
easier.
No, but that one, you're right.
Yeah.
In the Ryder Cup, it is
So that
only
is all
teams.
about the teams. So
Yes.
that's completely different than what Liv's doing. Because you don't have a clue who the best player was that week because it's just this team against that team, and that's that. Not
but there's the records.
13 teams or whatever the
Yeah.
heck there is.
Yeah.
And
This text comes into the Parish Jewels inbox 780-28-99-99.
Tommy is completely. He
I
couldn't care less.
No,
about
I do.
golf.
I have things
He's
to
a
say,
golf
but
guy.
I want to hear the text.
Have
I
you guys watched the PGA broadcast? They're also terrible. 5 shots, then commercial. Only show 3 or 4
Agreed.
golfers, it feels like. And I'll agree that they have too many commercials. They don't feature enough of the golfers. But the broadcast, to me, the technology is better. This isn't about the broadcast. I don't like the music during live golf. I don't know what it is. I don't like the music being played on the course.
Yeah, and I
It
don't
just
love the
seems
shorts
weird.
either. But whatever.
And yeah, the shorts,
It's
it
fine.
looks weird, but if the
It does
players
look
want
weird.
it, go for
Yeah.
it. And then the other,
It's the leaderboard
it's
on
the whole score.
side.
It's the visuals.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
the graphics.
The graphics, that matters. There's a
For
reason
sure.
that, like in the NFL broadcast, they're constantly changing their score bugs and their graphics because
Yeah.
that matters
Yep.
to what you visually appealing. And the live one compared to CBS and NBC,
Or
It's
even
night
if you
and
watch
day.
the DP World Tour.
Yes.
It looks very
It's-
much like the PGA Tour.
and,
Clean
And so when you got, and it's, yeah, could the PGA broadcast be better? Sure. But even the replays are better. The camera shots are better. Like it's just the whole production behind it. It's stronger on the PGA than on live.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would love if there's less commercials.
Yeah.
'cause they go
do a lot
way
of
too
playing
many.
through though.
The NBC's really bad. They don't show enough shots. But that's where I cut, and you're agreeing with me, I think, on this, is where the difference between the PGA and the live is. There's just the visuals of it. PGA is just way stronger.
all right, jump in, Tommy.
Yeah,
do
all
your
I was
guy.
just so like PGA on the broadcast side, I know it's not perfect, and the format of the PGA and all that, I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. I'm of the
Well, that's
mind
the thing,
like,
right? We've all been watching it
Yeah.
for forever.
Do I-
That's just the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, do I think it's perfect? No. Are there things I'd like to see improve? Yes, absolutely. But like I find when I watch PGA, especially on a Saturday or Sunday, I'm doing stuff around my place, and I got the TV. I can move the TV around. All right, what's going on? I'm ironing stuff. Or, all right, I'm cleaning stuff up, and I'm watching. Like I can go back and forth. Believe it, I do it.
I know.
Anyway, but like
You need a steamer. Tom.
I have a steamer.
Okay.
Come on, Josh. It's
But
me.
you still ironing?
A little bit of ironing here and there.
All right.
Yeah, a little bit of ironing. Anyway, the broadcast thing, where they would be smart. I'm very meticulous, okay? The broadcast thing, Murray's right. Like, money talks. I would go after whoever's doing the second in command production-wise at either CBS, NBC, or Golf Channel and be like, here's a crap load of money. We're bringing you over to live. Take some of what you do over there and make it better with what we're doing and clean it up. And I guarantee you that broadcast will be better. They have weird camera angles on Live, I find. Especially that first year. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? Like the angle of things. I'm like, oh, this is weird. So I can't remember watching a lot of it second season. And I don't know how much better it got, but I felt like there was weird broadcast
It
angles.
got better.
Okay,
It still
good.
wasn't great.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
It's that goofy color
The leaderboard on the side,
Yeah.
where they don't even have the names are awkward.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't just write the full name. Just give me the full last name. Just write the full last name. That's it. That's all I have to see. But then it like shrinks and it's like abbreviated and stuff, and then it expands.
Well, because it expands when they're up.
And it's just just highlight them.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of simple ways to get that a little bit better.
Right. Like where a ticker is great is for golf. Tickers are great.
And you hate tickers.
And I hate tickers.
Yeah, and just a tiny little leaderboard in the bottom corner.
Thank you.
That's all you need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy, simple, clean. And then just the format, I don't know. I'm so comfortable. I'm very easygoing. I'm like, all right, well, what are we doing? Okay, the best guy goes last. Great. He deserved it. He earned it. Yeah, the weather thing, I understand. But I don't know. If I'm of the mind, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I respect trying new things, but yeah. And I just feel like at the end of the day, this is going to become a glorified European tour. We're just like, oh, who's on Live this weekend? I don't care. When's the next major? Because then we'll see best on best.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, I watched the DP.
Because you're hardcore.
Yeah,
Well, the
you
DP
are
has some really
hardcore.
good events.
My
Like
God.
at this start of the year, there's some really good events. DP. You got the Dubai, and what was the other one? I can't remember. Like it was the last 2 weekends were big for the European tour.
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood won the first week because Rory missed like a 3-foot putt.
Blew it. Well,
Absolutely.
he blew his tee shot into the water.
Yes, on 18, and then he won the next week.
Yeah.
It's a big time of the year. Like you got the West Coast,
Yeah.
and it's actually really works well because the DP happens like it's
And then
finished,
you see guys
and then
like
the PGA
Nicholas
starts. It's
Højgaard
wonderful.
and his twin brother Rasmus, and then one of them comes to the PGA, and you know their name.
I do love the DP every so often.
It's great.
It's a fun one. I can't get into other golf. James Duthie talks about how he'll watch anything. He'll throw on the Golf Channel and watch a NCAA event. He just loves watching the golf, and I
I'll
haven't
watch
gone
on
to
PGA.
that yet.
Like I'll put it on if there's the Brooke Henderson's contention. I'm watching. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
Let's
for
go.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think Liv needs to spend a lot of money again and hire like the best sports marketing person out there, because I never hear anything about it. I didn't even know there was an event this week.
Yeah, it's there.
And then
launch.
Sometimes when I like
Maybe Josh
someone
is on the payroll.
Says there was did you see what happened in the last Liv event? No. Like, oh well, this person won. Like you don't even hear about
Because
it.
Because most of the infrastructure is PGA, like if you listen to satellite radio, you get PGA
Yeah.
Tour radio.
Yeah.
But Golf Digest and Golf Weekly are doing a way more coverage of Live than.
But who's buying
over the
those?
last couple of
Golf
years.
fans, not the casual sports
Oh,
fans, right?
nobody's
type
buying
thing.
them. You just read it online.
Well, yeah. But no one's like opening those up unless you're really a golf fan type thing.
No.
You know, and that's where Liv would have to figure this. But in the end, Liv just didn't do any TV ratings last year. PGA still had great TV
Yeah.
ratings.
And
I don't know if that changes. I don't know if Americans are going to fully just switch
It
just
needs
because
to
they
be
want to
on a-
watch John Rahm.
It needs to be on a.
Network.
something
better
more
network.
mainstream, yeah. And the other thing I was going to say, that texter texted in about how the PGA and they only show so many players and stuff like that. Like, they know what they're doing because they get
Yeah.
great ratings. And like Tiger Woods, we got a cardboard cutout of my boy Tiger Woods right there. Like, everyone, or you see on Twitter, blows up when Tiger's playing. Oh, all they're doing is showing Tiger, not showing anyone else. Man, I would rather watch Tiger tie his shoes. than
All
watch-
18. Show me all 18.
Right. There
Just give
should
me a
be-
picture in picture.
Right.
You just show
exactly.
somebody else, but just keep
And
Tiger up there.
That's
in
what gets the ratings.
Yep.
When Tiger plays, the ratings blow up because people want to see him play. So, some guys don't like that, but the majority of people want to see Tiger all the time, and that's what drives ratings. So that's what they're going to do. And I'm one of those guys. I would rather watch Tiger tie his shoes than watch some guy that's in 62nd place make a tap in on 18.
Well, that's the thing. Like on Sunday, I just want to see the guys in contention.
And
Whoever
Tiger,
has a
if he's
shot
not.
at winning, and then Tiger, and then if there's a nice shot, somebody who got an eagle, go show me that replay. They'll show me that replay, great. But show me the guys in contention.
Yeah.
I understand why when the Canadians are in contention, they don't show them. because you have to, they're American broadcasters.
Yes.
Right? Like they have the American. I'm assuming if a Canadian broadcaster really wanted, they can go pay to go produce their own PGA event and get the Canadian rights to it. You know, because Europe has their own. You know, the UK has their own people that come to it. Canada just like, well, just take the American broadcast. It's easy. It's cheaper. But at that means then if Nick Taylor's in contention, yeah, we're not going to see that many shots of him unless it's really late.
Yeah.
And as Canadians, that's going to suck. But overall, just show me the top guys. That's it. On Sunday,
Yeah,
especially.
if you want to see them on the, you
can
can
go
watch
find
all
them.
their shots on the
Yeah.
app.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. It's I don't care about the financials that came out today. Now that this merger's happening, unless the U.S. government has something to say about
Well,
this.
that's why they had to do this. Apparently, is because they were told they would shut it down if it was just PIF, and so
That's why they
needed
got the
another
American
partner. So they
investors.
bring in Strategic Sports Group,
yeah.
and now you can bring PIF to the table,
So,
and now it can pass.
We'll see what the government
regulators.
deals with all that, the regulators. But now it's what does golf look like moving forward? Because golf hasn't been
Well, this year it'll look the
that
same,
great,
right? It's not
absolutely.
gonna
But like,
change this
what
year.
is like? Is it going to be, as you said, live here, PJ here?
What do you
they
want
come
it to
together
look
for
like?
major. Well, I would love live to just go away and everyone come back to the PGA
Yes,
and a
please.
Just
remodified
one.
Hallelujah.
PGA. You want to, and if you want to add a couple of, if you want to make teams still and have like 4 events in the year that impact the teams, sure. Like if you want to find a way to bring pieces of live golf and put it into the PGA, let's
just
do it.
have one.
And if you want to take the PGA and move a couple of events, a few more events out of America and go a little more global, sure. But let's just get everyone on one tour. Let's
Yes,
just get them
please.
so week in and week out, we're watching what should be the best players of your.
Who wanna
Obviously,
play
they're
a
gonna
week.
have,
People are gonna
there's
take
gonna be
weeks
weeks
off
off, and that's
and,
going to
yeah,
happen.
injuries, whatever, so it's all good.
But let's just go. So I know that most weeks we're watching some of the best in the world going at it, and there's no other tour. And then build up the European tour again. Have that be the true number 2.
Not
Farmer
the Corn
system.
Ferry?
Why? That's.
Oh,
But so
boy.
that's where-
I'm a loser because I will watch Corn Ferry too.
Well, hey, Will Bateman, local Edmonton guy, is
He won last year,
he's
didn't
out
he?
there on the tour. He's had a great start. He was a rookie last year, had a great start and faded a little bit. He had an injury that he was dealing with, but local guy, grew up playing at Blackhawk and graduated from the Canadian tour to
good
that
for
tour.
him.
And you watch, he's a good player. I could see maybe this year, one more year where he gets that experience out there. This year he's going to know the courses that he's playing and be more familiar with what to expect. I could see him making a push to get his PGA Tour card this year, and if not this year,
what's
I
his
think
name?
next year.
Will Bateman.
Will Bateman.
Okay.
The other thing I would say, I know what I want for the PGA. What I just said is probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
I would love though, then mix it up somehow.
Those live guys,
You
they
know,
love live.
Have.
From
I know,
everything
but
The gravy train.
Yeah, because they just
so
get
easy.
paid bazillions of
And they
dollars.
don't have to
to
try.
play
3 months
hardly
off
ever.
in the wintertime.
Also-
What do you mean they don't have?
they don't have to try. They get their money. They have their money. They're not.
Yeah, they're still.
No, they can't. They want to try, but they don't have to
sure.
try.
They're coasting.
Explain,
They're winning
explain
more
Cam
money.
Smith to me then, because
Well-
I don't follow it very closely.
Right.
But man, I was so excited about Cam Smith, thinking that he was going to be the next great
Yes.
player on the PGA Tour, and
He
then
played-
he
had some
goes
good
over to
tournaments.
Live, and it's like
But he's fallen off.
You know what it is?
I know Taylor Gooch.
because they don't play
Taylor Gooch
enough.
took over last.
They
year.
don't
he get
play
traded?
enough.
What's
They
that?
Did he
Wait.
get traded in the live?
Yeah,
was he
well,
part of the trade?
He switched teams.
It's
yeah.
trade.
He went to Crushers. He's with Kepka now.
Yeah, and it was a terrible trade. It was like the best live golfer from last year flipped.
Yeah, for the other team.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fleece. It wasn't a real trade. Like
No.
that's where I
Brooks
get mad
got
at
rid-
live.
Brooks lost his brother off his team and
'Cause he
picked up
wasn't
the
good
player
enough
of
to
the
stay
year.
on the-
Player of the year. Yeah,
For nothing.
Picked up the player of the
He
year.
got the player of the year last year for like his 4th best player or whatever.
Wow.
It's a
Because
He
terrible
knew
trade.
he had
No.
Legion 13 coming for him.
That's
Taylor Gooch being the player of the year on the Live Tour doesn't sound that exciting. Taylor Gooch. What about like all these other guys that are there? Like, come on, there's real big players over there. But Taylor Gooch,
Yeah. So they obviously have some talent there that someone else other than just the big names.
do
The reverse
they?
argument. The
'Cause they
reverse
don't
argument is
care.
that you've got a professional. You got a professional tournament, and those guys are not good enough to beat an amateur.
Well, he's not an amateur anymore. He turned
Well,
pro.
he's not anymore, but
Yeah,
first time since 1991 though.
that's insane. It doesn't. It's not like that happens. It
91,
wouldn't be
right, I
such
think,
a massive story if it happened regularly.
and it probably wouldn't have happened, right? If all those guys from Live were still
Possibly. I mean,
That's not a big event. That doesn't usually bring out the big golfers.
It's
that-
early in the season.
Yeah, early
Yeah,
in
well,
the
it's
season for sure.
because
But
Lots of
Rom
ki-
won it last year, didn't he? That's the one Rom won.
Was that
one
the
of
one Rom won?
One of the three, I think.
I thought he won Farmers
At the
Or no.
beginning.
2 years ago, maybe he won Farmers.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
I always forget. I get those two always mixed up. I always
Anyway.
forget which one's the Tories. So
It would be nice to
It'd be
have
nice if they
all-
could flip at the very least. Like I would
Back
love
and
some
forth?
live golfs leave for a couple of weeks a year to go play in the PGA, and maybe some PGA guys can go to live every couple of years. That would be nice for me because then if I could see John Rahm a little bit more,
Yes.
in the PGA, if I could see those guys come to the
you watch
PGA
some
a little bit
PGA Tour
more.
events now, and you're like, would this leaderboard look anything like this leaderboard if all those guys were still playing here?
But are you-
If
is
you
that-
still had Brooks and Rom and
But is that the
DJ
event that's elevated or
Cam
not?
Smith and
Because the elevated events were great last year. We had the top golfers at the top of those events
and
last
like-
year. I think
Yes.
Pebble this weekend is one of the first real
Yeah, if you
elevated
look at-
events.
right.
Yeah.
like Scotty Scheffler, and I mean, there's lots of guys over here too.
I know,
That
I
leader,
just-
what
I
would that
can't get in
leaderboard
on
look
Scotty
like?
Scheffler. I don't know.
Do you know what
something
got
about
me
him
in on
bugs
Scotty
me.
Scheffler?
I don't like him.
Full Swing. Did you ever watch the Netflix?
Great show.
I did.
Yeah,
That
And I
got me
liked
to
him
like.
even less.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I was the
I
opposite. like this guy.
started to be like, actually, I like Scotty
No.
Scheffler now.
No.
Okay. Wow.
That's why was it? Finau, but Sahith
Finau's
Theegala.
He's
I really
great.
started liking after.
Yeah,
that.
me too.
Yeah.
Joel Damon was just.
Well,
fun.
everybody
Yeah,
loves
just a
Joel
great
Damon.
dude.
Yeah.
I know my wife's constantly like, where's our guy with the hat? I'm like, no.
I think they're announcing, or they announced the day of season 2 because it's coming.
Excellent.
Which they were filming when it broke that PGA and Live were coming together.
Yes.
So that's gonna be fun to watch.
Question about the merger or whatever. Remember the PGA came out with this like new interactive style tournament thing that they were gonna do. It's like part virtual.
Oh, that's
some
not
elements-
TGL.
That's,
Is that happening?
That's Tiger and Rory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate, not with the PGA. They went off on their
Tiger
own.
Golf League.
Tiger. Is that happening still?
Next
No,
year.
the dome collapsed.
Already?
Yeah,
It's
when
been
they
pushed to
were
next
when they
year.
were building it,
Oh,
the
my.
dome that they were building collapsed, and
Awesome.
so they had to push everything back. Although I think there were other issues.
Well, they lost Rom. Rom was supposed to be
Right.
part of it.
Yeah.
And he
He
pulled
went
out,
to
and
Live.
everyone's like, "Oh, he's going to Live now." And that was like the first indication he was heading over. It was supposed to go on this January start,
Right.
but apparently it's next January now. And I'm very intrigued to see what it looks
I
like.
can't
Same.
wait to see what that look. That would be great.
virtual golf is not golf.
Well, they're still hitting
So-
shots, but it's not like I think there's actually like 100 yards worth of a course inside this dome.
Oh,
And
There's
Like,
Like
Oh,
it's
there's
not
like
like they're not just going up
platforms.
against the
No.
screen or something.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
there's actually like
The
some
screen
golf
is-
stuff that is inside this dome.
Yeah.
too.
The
I don't know if
Screen's
there's sand or anything like
3
that.
or
But
4 stories tall. Like
Yeah.
it's enormous. And then the green, they can contour it so it can match any green on the PGA Tour.
because it's
crazy.
Tagger, I'll check
Yeah.
it out.
Sure.
Yeah.
it's going to be worth
Absolutely.
It's going to be worth
this
just seeing.
is me and Live with Rom.
Rom hasn't even played one. Had one swing on
know,
Live
but
yet.
I'm all
weekend
they need
though.
more.
Mayakoba.
Can we even
Rom-
watch it? What time does it start?
Here's the thing that with Rom though, he was so vocal against it, and
Yes.
and then to turn like he did, I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh man, like that, like
That's where I just want them to come out and say,
Yeah.
"Why did you do this?" The money.
Money.
It was
Sure.
just
Like,
tell me
just
that. I think there was
straight
one
up.
golfer that did
Yeah.
that. Just say outright,
yeah.
"You turned down this money."
Yeah.
Like throw that question back at people.
And so, like, because this merger is happening and all that, I think like John Rahm took the money,
knowing that he's going to get back.
he's going to
Yeah.
get back on the PGA
And
Tour.
plus, he's
this is
exempt
happening.
from
Yeah.
all the majors for the
Yeah.
next however many years.
So I don't
it's
know.
a win-win.
Yeah, for
None
him.
of us would say no.
11:15 a.m. February 2nd.
Yeah.
What is it?
Friday. Mayakoba.
Mayakoba in
I've
Mexico.
played
And then they're
Mayakoba
going-
a few
3-day
times.
events.
That's a
Is
good,
it?
Yeah,
And
that's
then
a
they're in
good
Vegas.
track, yeah.
Hey, they're in Vegas next
Super
week.
Bowl weekend.
On the 8th. Are we still there on the 8th? Maybe I'll have to go try to
What
bring the
course
boys
in Vegas
there.
are they playing?
They're there.
When?
We're there on the
Oh, no,
8th.
They're
not
playing
Super
the
Bowl
Trump's
weekend.
course?
They're in
No,
Vegas.
that's Super Bowl weekend. Like leading up, that's Super Bowl weekend.
Isn't
That's next weekend.
the win course the one to play there?
Oh, it is.
Maybe I'll get the boys
really.
to. I'll get Dusty and Eric to go to Vegas,
And
Las
then-
Vegas Country Club.
Is that
Vegas
the
Country
same
Club.
weekend as WM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
Right.
Bowl, waste management.
Right.
All the
So,
same.
but maybe I'll have to get the boys to go. Maybe I'll have to look buy tickets and go to see Live Golf on the Thursday.
You should.
How much is it?
By all accounts,
Free.
It's
I need
Hey,
one
by
day.
all
Hey,
accounts,
free.
it's
I probably
Hey,
can find some really cheap
You
tickets.
know a guy.
on
You know a
course.
guy.
Get media comp. Media
Ground
pass.
pass is $43.57.
Or you could just pay whatever.
I was just
It's not very
looking.
expensive.
If I want the all access hospitality, it's only $1,300.
What
Only.
the heck
Only.
does that get you?
Let's find out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It gives you all-day entry to the clubhouse, the 19th hole, the Birdie Shack, the Gallery Club, and Club 54. So you can roam the course, stop at each venue, and pick up the spot that suits you best. It's like an all-inclusive pass for the world's most luxurious resort. And if you're entertaining a large group, you could give each person their own perfect golf day.
So it includes food and booze?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
Yes.
For 1300
Well, that better.
Yeah.
If I'm paying 1300,
I know, although in Vegas, 1300 doesn't buy a lot of drinks.
No, it just buys you access to food and booze.
So the Birdie Shack is the loudest of the loud, a place where our hardiest revelers congregate. This open air enclosure over the 8th tee box offers live DJs all day and 3 drinks per ticket holder, with an atmosphere that remind you of a hazy summer pool parties.
That has Lieutenant Eric written all over it.
It does. Well, but that's Lieutenant Eric on a golf course. Anyways, he would never hit a golf ball. He's just there for the drinks and camaraderie, and
That's
nothing,
right.
nothing wrong with that.
Live.
And the good weather.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jay Monahan's, by the way, staying on as ahead of the PGA.
You like that
which is a
segue?
mistake.
Well, yes.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Mott's Clamato, Caesar, Matt Iwanyk, Josh Classen, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola. Now Murray's going to get mad at Josh.
No, I'm not going to get mad at
Yes.
Josh. I'm going to get mad at his industry.
I can't speak for the entire industry.
Well, you
I
are.
don't control the Weather
I
Network's
know.
forecast.
I know.
I only control mine.
So then,
should only be watching
So we'll
Boston's forecast
quantify
anyways.
before I get. Like, so once in a while, I go on a rant on this show,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go on a rant. But before I quantify, we should work together somehow to get, instead of a Weather Network being on everybody's phone that we all go to find out the weather, it should be the Josh Clausen
CTV weather app?
CTV weather app. Is
I
well? How
agree.
come it's not on everybody's phone? When you just
Right.
get your phone,
It
it's
got
just there.
canceled.
He had
Wow.
one.
Well,
He updated. Like he was updating
He had
all the
one,
weather
yeah.
and stuff. And
but it's not the one that everybody goes to.
No.
Okay. So we need to get that going again.
So
because
you're
it's, so
saying
it's
I
real.
need to be a bigger deal.
I didn't say that.
I'm all for that.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, we
so that
just
people know.
you are that big a deal. This not everybody knows how big a deal you are yet.
yes.
Okay. So here's the thing that drives me nuts. That I've contemplated doing a class action lawsuit against the Weather Network because of how negatively that stupid app takes money out of businesses' pockets because of their idiocy.
All weather apps are garbage.
except
Wow. Okay, so the class action lawsuit then should be against all weather apps.
Yeah, because most of them there's nobody actually doing that forecast. It's just whatever a computer is spitting out. And so which is why it'll change like every 3 hours when a new model run comes in. And then there's no way we can tell you 4 days in advance exactly what time the rain is going to come and how much.
But see, that's not really my beef.
It's done a
though.
huge disservice to forecasting because we can't. There are some things we can be accurate about and some things we can't. But if we're just trying to pretend that we're accurate about everything, then
Right.
you're not accurate about anything.
And they're accurate about nothing because they'll show their 7-day forecast.
I don't know. I never looked at.
And,
He does his own
and you
forecast.
shouldn't. You shouldn't. So they'll do a 7-day forecast and say, "Oh my gosh, the 4, 5, 6, and 7 days out, it's going to rain 25 millimeters a day."
Mm-hmm.
So nobody books tee times at golf courses because it's going to rain. Nobody books whatever other outdoor activities they might want to do, and then all of a sudden those days come, and it's bloody gorgeous out. There's
know.
not a cloud in the sky, and golf courses aren't nearly as busy as they should be because everyone found something else to go do because it was going to pour rain, and it's sunny and 28 degrees. That's
I know.
part one of my beef. Here's part two of my beef, and I'm just, the Weather Network will say on Thursday there's a 20%.
Why don't you use Environment Canada's than the weather instead of the weather?
Because the majority.
Everybody goes,
I use Environment Canada.
I know.
I use
That's
Environment
my-
Canada.
Everybody else.
That's the
Everybody
main app
uses the
I go
weather
to.
app.
I know.
So
or they're like automated iPhone weather app.
right.
See, I've
Which
honestly
should
got
be the
Environment
Josh
Canada.
Clausen one. So
That's the one I
they'll
go to.
say, it'll say, if you read it, it says on Thursday there's a 20% chance of rain where the frickin' icon is a cloud with rain coming out of it.
Yes.
What are you doing? Why do you have that stupid icon with the rain? Because the majority of people just look at it, oh, it's going to rain on Thursday, so I'm not going to play golf, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. I got to do
Because
something
of the way
inside.
the code has been written.
Well,
if there's
That's
any
you're now mad at computer
if
people.
there's any chance of rain, it just puts a
Yeah.
rain icon.
Well, there's 80% chance it's not going to rain. So just put a freaking cloud. Don't put the
Agreed. Well,
raindrops
that's
in.
what listen, this is what I do. This is what I do.
See,
Okay.
the moral of
so-
the story is
Listen to
every
Josh.
night at 5 and 6, you need to throw on CTV Edmonton.
Well, it's
And
not
watch
me. It's
Boston's
everybody
forecast.
Or
else.
you could go to
And then-
ctvedmonton.ca. There's a blog that I write every morning that gives you context on the forecast. Where is there a chance of rain? What time might it rain?
we need to
What are
push
we
this
certain
one.
about? What are we uncertain about? Plus, in the afternoons, there's always a video that goes up by about 4:35 o'clock that you can watch
Okay.
if you missed.
Josh
it.
Classen on Twitter, also throwing this all out there at all times.
How do we educate
Or just for you, text him.
it's
yeah.
not, but like I said, it's not about what I see.
No,
it's what
it's
everyone
about
else
what everyone
sees.
else sees.
So
Agreed.
how in the world do we get everyone in northern Alberta, and we need Josh Classens everywhere else that can
Yes.
do this?
I can't
that
do every
people
city.
can really see what's real instead of looking at an app that is computer generated that has a cloud with rain when there's a 20% chance of rain. Like, because people just look at that. Oh, going to cancel my tea time because it's going to
know.
rain.
And then the worst part about this, Murray, is that they see that, and then when it doesn't rain, you know who is told that he's wrong?
You.
Me. Even though
Okay, so you can
I
join
have
the
the same
class
beef.
action
I have the same
lawsuit
beef.
then. This is my cousin's a lawyer. I'm going to talk to him.
How far
class action lawsuit on
in
Weather Network.
advance can you relatively
Depends.
Is it a day generally? Like, what would you say?
Depends on the pattern.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be really certain 5-6 days out. Sometimes
Is Edmonton harder than a lot of other places because of the mountains?
Would be easier in Calgary, wouldn't it? Because
Or is it just a
Calgary's
lot more
harder.
unpredictable?
It's harder
in
than
Edmonton?
Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saskatoon, you can see the weather coming from 3 days away. It was beautiful. I loved forecasting in Saskatoon.
yeah,
Didn't you
because
Always right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for 5 years. For 5 years.
okay. So
Yes, it is.
So it's
it
a
is
little more difficult
It
here?
is more difficult here.
so how do we
Because we had
educate
a 40 some
everyone
degree swing in the month of January.
50.
50?
Wow.
And think about that.
in
That's
in
incredible.
January? Yeah,
In
that is
January, we
great.
went from the lowest to the high, like a 50 degree swing. That's incredible.
I'm
Record high
getting
yesterday.
getting tweets from people saying, "When's the golf course going to open? This is like beautiful." I'm like, hello.
After
It's
the
gonna-
next winter blast we get in a couple weeks.
Go look at Weather Network and see that it's going to be -9 in a couple of days again. But but how do we educate people to listen to you and not go to freaking Weather
Murray, I've
Network?
been trying to educate them for 20 years that I've lived here in Edmonton doing this. I don't know. I don't.
We pushed it as much.
Yeah.
Every morning at 12:60,
look-
John, when Eric did a weather, he would always,
What-
he still plugged your app even though the app was gone.
I know.
He'd
and
always
then
go, the CTV Weather Edmonton app.
Eventually, I had to text them and be like,
Okay.
you know that app doesn't exist anymore.
Here,
right?
here. We're getting a big plug's coming right now.
Here's-
okay, Edmonton. Quit looking at the Weather Network. Josh, where do they look right now? Spit it out.
ctvedmonton.ca. Go to our website, go to the weather page.
Or follow Josh on Twitter and he'll
And spread that
link
out.
to his
And then I'll
blogs and
link to all
videos
that.
and all
Put
that.
it out
all the
on
stuff.
Twitter, on all your social medias. Say, quit looking at the Weather Network. CTV.ca. Josh Classen. He knows where it's at.
Is there like a consortium of golf course owners?
There's a National Golf Course Owners Association. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it might be in your guys' best interests to hire some forecasters and produce your own national Canadian Golf Association weather app
Oh,
that
heck.
golfers only could go to. That not
Canada
golfers
Golf
only,
should push that
but
out there then.
that golfers
With
could go
everything.
That's a
to.
good idea.
Okay, Golf,
Right,
Golf
and then you
Canada,
could link to all
yeah.
of those. You could have it on the GPS screens on all of the carts. Hey, download this app. You could have
You're just giving away way too good of an idea. You
could
can
have
make
the
a bunch of
radar
money.
on there. You could have the forecast rate on there from your own app.
Yeah.
You should be selling this to them. Don't be giving away for free.
This sounds like a business venture.
I'm an
That's what
idea
I'm
guy.
saying.
yeah, well,
I'm just an idea guy.
So the EST sports bar that we talked about.
Yeah, we're buying
before,
Shanks.
We're buying Shanks. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's
We're
going to
gonna
happen.
we're gonna build a business there. We're moving all of
put
our
a
stuff there. And,
TGL course in there.
that's
Hell
a lot of room
yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
And
They
then
had their golf sims.
And then we'll
know.
branch out and we'll do a weather app. But it's not just golf courses. It's any business that's outside.
But it would actually, I do think like the top people of Canadian golf, even U.S. golf, that would be brilliant to have. Where it's,
It would be.
because the golf, like I think most golfers that are diehard will be like, okay, this is the app I should follow. Sure,
Yeah.
I
And
will
it-
get on this, and this will be my forecast I follow. And if all the golf courses are saying, yeah, no, this is the app to check your weather.
Yeah.
That's a way that you can have the whole country just push like, no, this is the one thing, and you get your own meteorologist. And
You know
they
why
pump
I
that
think
out
it's
there.
viable is because word of mouth would spread and be like, well, all these
Golfers
golf
easily.
courses went and hired meteorologists, and they do their own golf forecast for each region, each big market in the country. And then as soon as you get all the golfers on board and you unlock that in their minds, it's like, well, this is the app I need. And Murray, maybe you don't get that rain icon when it's supposed to be just a cloud with 20%.
Maybe
chance.
just take away that icon.
We
a
just
little
need
bit
to
and force
get
people
a
to read.
ban on the Weather Network. That,
You really hate the weather.
You hate
Network.
You good with
I'm telling you.
AccuWeather?
listen,
I think AccuWeather's
Environment
worse.
Canada and CTV.ca.
That's right.
CTV.ca.
CTVedmonton.ca.
CTVedmonton.ca. Okay.
CTV.ca takes you to watching TV shows.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Lots of crave content on there.
Anyways, there's my rant of the
I
week.
love it.
Yeah.
My gosh.
When's the VIP golf show back? Because Murray, he's got a lot of problems with you people.
Okay, so
No.
speaking of, can we go indoor golf? Apparently, have you heard there's a place on the south side that has like sand pits that you hit out of?
Really?
And rough for when you're hitting out of the rough? Yeah.
Where?
On 99th, apparently.
Like where the
Oh,
Cook
I've
Dome
seen
is?
that.
Cook was telling me about
I've seen the video of that.
it. Yeah. He's
Oh,
like,
Adam
it's-
Cook.
Yeah.
I haven't
He was
seen
out
him.
at the show on Saturday, too.
Was
you
he?
didn't see him? Yeah. Well, that's why
I
I
didn't
said
see
to you,
anyone.
why didn't you text me? I could have got you on the guest list, and I could have told
Well,
you that
I
all
said-
these other people were there. No,
I don't
you
know.
made it sound like you weren't coming.
Then later I said I'd see you at the show. Or something.
I didn't
that
get
day.
that
Or what?
text.
You responded to
You
that.
said, good luck at the show.
I didn't say good luck at the show.
Okay,
So it was something like that.
While we debate this, there's a
Let's-
question
I know,
that
go
came
look
in.
at that.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it in
Look
780.
forward to your show tonight.
Oh, I didn't read that as...
Yeah.
I read that as like, I'm not coming. Have fun.
780
We'll talk about that show a little bit right away.
9999. Josh and Environment Canada are what I use. And then follows
Thank
up
you.
with, ask Murray if having to prepay for your round makes a difference with regard to the weather. If I'm prepaying, I will look at weather, and if it looks iffy, I will not book.
Yeah. So yeah, we have prepaid the ranch, but if the weather is bad, then you get a rain check. So then you just we keep them at the ranch for you. You book your tea time the next time, and the rain check's on file. Boom, it's taken care of. So it's really not impactful. So if a lot of golf courses do prepay, and so if you do prepay, so long as the golf course has a decent weather policy that you're not going to lose your money, that's great. But because we're also prepay,
Also, most of the time, even if it's raining a little bit, like as long as you dress for it, you're fine.
you would actually be stunned how busy we are on
Rainy days. Drizzly,
now because
yeah.
people have prepaid and it's really not that bad.
No.
You dress for it. And it's the same thing when you go to an Elks game. Are you
Right.
going to stay home or are you just going to dress properly and go enjoy the football game?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of the same thing. Like I enjoy playing golf. I'd rather play in this blows me away with golfers sometimes. I would have no problem playing golf if it's pouring rain. Okay, that's pouring rain.
Right.
But if it's a light rain, it's kind of fun. The greens are soft and receptive, so you can throw darts. And I don't like playing in the wind.
Yeah, wind
Yeah.
is way worse. than
If
rain.
you
the
get
worst.
60K wins, 70K wins, nobody ever cancels a tee time because it's too windy. But that sucks.
Unpleasant.
It sucks when you hit this great shot and then all of a sudden, where are the winds?
Yeah.
That is challenging. Where golf in light rain, you can actually play some of your best golf because the ball where you hit it and land on the green is going to stay there. The green's a little softer, more
harder
receptive.
fairways for more rollout.
Well,
I love that courses are slowly starting to force also you have to prepay for the tee time because I hate some people will just book their tee times just to reserve them and then cancel last
Yeah,
minute.
that sucks.
And then it's like, well, I would have used that tee time. I couldn't
Yeah.
get my tee time, but like that's the part I just like. Now if I have I have to give you my money if I cancel. And there's a little like that
I'll
late.
explain why we do it.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, because before we started doing it, we would have full foursomes, just no show.
Yeah.
We would have foursomes book or groups book as 4, show up as 3. Groups
Yeah.
book as 4, show up as 2. So over the course of a day, we would have roughly, call it 25 golfers no show a day. Do the math on that. We'll just do really easy math. Say it's $100 a round.
Yeah. There's
times 25,
$2,500.
$2,500 a day. times 30 days a year or a month times 5 months a
It's a
year.
lot of money.
Now we're talking significant revenue loss.
That you
Okay.
could have filled out.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like especially at our place because we're packed. But now that is almost eliminated now that we do that. But instead of just putting that money in our pocket at the ranch, and I can't speak for other golf courses, I can just speak what we do at the ranch. We used to do tee time intervals at 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. At 8 minutes, 9 minutes, a normal day, like no tournaments out there, just a normal green fee day, average pace of play 4:30, 4:20. Much easier for it to slow down and bog down, especially later in the afternoon, where you could get 4:50, the odd day 5 or whatever. Okay, and then it's no fun. Instead of putting that money in our pocket, we do 10-minute tee time intervals at the ranch.
Makes such a difference.
And now I play at 11 o'clock every Sunday morning, unless there's a tournament that makes it so I can't play my team. We played more rounds in under 4 hours than we did over 4 hours at the ranch on Sundays this year. A slow round for us was 4:15, but I'd say on average our pace at the ranch, especially if you play earlier in the day, it's 4 hours or even quicker.
Which is what it should be.
Yeah. And then sure in the afternoon you get some golfers out that, are newer golfers and things like that. And it can slow down a bit, but it's still 4:15. Like if you played over 4.5 in ranch, like, oof, that's a long round.
day.
So we're doing with that. And even the experience that you have, you've already paid. Sure, it might be a little hassle if we're going golfing and you paid. We got to e-transfer you some money. So how hard is that really in this day?
Nowadays, it's so easy.
It's so easy. So it shouldn't be that big a deal, but a little bit of a hassle. But now you come to the course. It's like it gives us the opportunity to give you a better overall experience because you come. You don't have to dig in your pocket and pay. You just come. We give you a range slip. Hey, have yourself a great day. The starters are going to give you their starter spiel. It's more of a greater experience, and then the pace of play is much better than it was before we did that. So instead of needing to rush home to see your family, you can come in and have a beer with your buddies after a little more often and things like that. So overall, your experience that you get is significantly better.
Yeah.
So that's why we do it.
That minute extra is good because
And
when
it
you're
doesn't
sitting
seem
around-
like that should make that much of a difference.
It does,
It
though.
It makes it
Because you
huge.
get up there and it's like, oh, we're good to go. You know how you're waiting around? How long are you usually waiting? Minute or two for the next group to finally move on to get out to the green. Now it's like, no, we're good. Let's go.
I'll tell you an experience I had I'm not going to say the name of the golf course, but they do 8-minute tee time intervals. And the first hole was a par 5. I got invited to go and play there with some people. It was just a little 9-hole fun tournament thing. And the first hole on the course is a par 5. And because of who I was playing with, I was playing some forward tees further up. And so it was like a 440-yard par 5. So I hit driver. And just so you know, because it was 8-minute tee time intervals, we were like 15 minutes late for our tee time because they were behind. Yeah. So we get out there and the starter drives out to us in the fairway. I hit my drive, whatever. I have a 6-iron in my hands to get to the green. And he drives up like 20 yards behind us and screams at us, hurry up and hit your shot. You're not good enough to hit it that far. And I'm like, well, do you see where my drive is right now? I just hit it like 280 off the tee shot in the middle of the fairway. And I have a little iron in my hand to get up at the, so not that it matters. I'm not hitting because I need to not kill the people in front of me.
Yeah.
But he has a job to do and bash people off this tee every 8 minutes apart. And so the people behind us, like they couldn't hit because we were there, and we couldn't hit because they were there. I mean, it's just
bad marshal or bad marshals can totally ruin a course's reputation, set the tone for a round.
Right.
There's a few courses where I hate going out there because they have the worst marshals and policies, and they're just straight up a-holes.
But even in that scenario, I mean, he's taking it on the chin from customers because they have 8-minute tee time intervals. So it's not his fault.
No,
it's the golf course's fault for having 8-minute tee time intervals, and then he's trying to do something to get himself, caught back up on the tee,
Yeah.
and he's mad because we're waiting to hit onto the green, but we can't
It's
hit
not your
because
fault,
there's people
'cause
there.
It was the 3 groups ahead of you that reloaded 4 times.
Well, or whatever it is, but
true.
you know, so it just makes for what we do makes for a great experience. What a lot of golf courses do makes for a terrible experience. So prepay is not that bad.
Well, but and then even just though from the golf perspective, it was just like I know there's a few courses in town that you'd had to book 7 days in advance, or that you could start opening, and people would just book up tee times. Just to see if they
before,
wanted it
yeah.
or not. And then
Yeah.
so like when you looked a couple days ahead of time, they're like, well, there's no tee times.
Right.
And then the
kind of a
day
jerk
happens
thing
and
to
you
do.
look and like you go if you find one,
Yeah.
and there's like no one there, and you're like, well, I would have taken an earlier tee time, but these people just eat them up because they just want to hold them to see what happens. It's like, well, now you can't. Otherwise, you're cash.
Yep.
Well,
So it's
and-
easier to get a tee time in the city.
And I hear it from some people that they say, well, geez, we don't want to book a tee time at the ranch because it's prepay and whatnot. And like, well, if you don't want to play at the ranch because you don't want to prepay, you're probably
They're one of the reasons
why we are prepay, because you want to book for 4 because you're only going to bring 2 people because you
Yes.
don't want somebody to play with somebody else.
or they're going to be likely to bail potentially.
Yeah, or
and-
bail potentially last minute and not let us know and give us the opportunity to sell to someone else. And so, hey, it's not fair to us. It's not fair to us to do that and it's also not fair to other golfers. You guys want to come and play at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning at the ranch, but because they booked the tee time and ditched us on it, we lose money and you lost the opportunity to come and play. So it's just selfish on those people's parts to do that.
Very true.
That's why I never. I just always show up.
Who's saying no to
But
you?
that's
Ian?
easy. Also, that's easy as a single too.
You can slide me in, right?
There's always a
Daddy
threesome out
wants to
there or
golf
something that you
today.
can slide with.
Yeah, but-
CJ in LA in the Nasty Chat said, I'd kill for a 4.25 round hour. Moved to LA last year. Public courses play 5 sums. An average round is 5.5. It's miserable.
We played a 5:45-ish round. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
Because you're not playing enough.
No, you're
Like,
just
it's-
standing around.
you're
We got to
sitting,
16th, and there were groups
get
behind us that were
cold.
passing us because they were done. They
Mentally,
were
you're
so far out.
frustrated at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
You're
No,
just
it's-
mad about the wait.
Yeah, you
It's
get
terrible.
to a tee box and there's like 3 groups waiting on the tee
Yes.
box, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is
Pull
not
out the
fun.
phone and you're just on Twitter or whatever because you're trying to kill the
Yeah.
time, and it's just because there's nothing else to
Yeah.
really do.
And then by the
And-
time you get to hit a next shot, it's like, geez, I need a small bucket to warm back
Yeah.
up again.
Yeah.
My muscles are all, I don't
No
know.
rhythm.
It's
I couldn't.
no fun.
No.
Now, it's
Five sums is a
different
lot,
when you're
too.
in a
Getting 4 people?
when you're in
Sometimes it can be
the
hard to get 3 others, you know?
Yeah.
when you're in the Edmonton Sports Talk Golf Tournament this summer.
I think I have the date that I got to talk with you after
all right,
that
so-
we want to lock in on.
You're in that now. It's 144 people on the golf course. You're having fun. If a shotgun charity tournament's 5.5 hours,
I had
that's
one that went
different.
longer than that.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Me and my buddies and brother, we had like a 7-hour one once, and it was long, and we were like,
7.
And then at the end, like even we're at the last like hole, and the people are like, this day went by quick, and like, what the hell are you talking about?
It's bedtime already. We
Yeah.
started at 8 a.m. What's going on?
It was a long one, but
Cal in St. Albert texted in and says, Josh, if I'm looking at forecasts for the weather in the BC interior in regards to the snowfall, what is the best place to get accurate forecasts? BC interior.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really deal with BC Interior. You could go straight to there's an app. If you go to, or it's a website. If you go to spotwx.com, spotweather.com, and then just enter in whatever location you're going to, and you'll see there's a whole list of different computer models that you can access, and you can just manually go through and look at all of them and try and compare and contrast. I don't think there's anybody that's really doing a lot of in-depth human forecasting for the interior. Or you could text me. Just send me a tweet.
you told me about that Spot WX years ago. I still go to it.
It's great.
It's just a nice little.
Yep.
I don't know fully everything I'm reading.
No,
but I just
and-
look at the forecasts and I look at a couple of
But I
them, and I
think if
kind of
more
like, oh, there's
Yeah.
they're all saying about this.
If more people did that, they would realize the differences
Yes.
between all those models. This
There's
one's
American
saying this,
and
this one's
Canadian
saying this,
models
This one's saying this.
and-
Well, how do I know? Right? I think they would appreciate a little bit more how difficult the job is.
You gave me that for green and gold
In-
stuff.
Yeah,
it was
that's
great.
That's right.
Environment Canada. What's your thoughts on that app?
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, I find it more.
The people there are fantastic.
Yeah.
And especially for day 1 and 2, where they're like manually tweaking it.
What do you mean day 1 and 2?
Like today and tomorrow?
Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
So beyond that, it's usually just automated unless there's something really off on it. But the Canadian model that they use is different than what the other apps are using. So
the Weather Network.
It works a little bit better than.
How about when you get forecast 5 days out? Environment Canada says it's going to be 22 degrees, and Weather Network says it's going to be 12 degrees. Like sometimes there's 8-10 degree differences in what the
there's different
temperature
models.
is going to be. And it's like, come on, it can't be this different.
It is that different. The here, let's see. Where's Spot WX?
Pull that up.
You got your phone open
In the
already?
meantime,
In the meantime,
WX.
Meat has texted in an experience he had. He said, had a long round experience at Northern Bear last year. Tight tee times, coupled with extremely thick rough. There was a backlog. If you dropped your ball in the rough, it disappeared like the U.S. Open. Signed, Meat.
So my guess might be that was around when they had the Canadian Tour event there.
Yeah.
So they had it toughened up for that. I would think would be part of that. And to be honest, it can happen at any golf course, no matter what your tee time intervals. If you have a group of newer golfers and they just can't get it around, you're in trouble. But and as bad as this might sound, like at the ranch, we have and will actually tell people, like, listen, like we'll give them the opportunity to keep up to the group in front of them. We'll make them skip holes to catch up to the group to try to keep everything moving. But you can't. Sometimes you need to make the decision to piss 4 people off and tell them they got to leave to make the 200 people that are behind them happy. And so sometimes that's a tough decision to make, tough conversations to have, but sometimes you have to do that because one group can destroy a whole day and you need to deal with it.
Has GPS on carts helped a little bit with that?
Sure, because I mean you can have we call them ambassadors at the ranch because we have them do more than just marshal's a terrible term because it's an authoritative word that makes you actually think that these people are maybe bad or they're so we get you. So we call ours ambassadors, but so they can't be everywhere all at once. And if there's 18 holes, you have one on the golf course. But when you have the GPS, we see gaps. We can send messages to groups from it. We can contact the ambassador and say, hey, the group that's on number 5 is already a hole and a half behind. You need to go and talk to them. We send them some messages, but you need to go and help speed them along. And so they would go and give them the opportunity to say, listen, you're a hole and a half behind. You're going to need to close that gap and catch up the group in front of you. And if you don't, we're going to have to ask you to skip a hole because we need to make sure all the groups the rest of the day can enjoy their day out here as well. And then we'll monitor them for a couple holes. If they don't, we'll make them skip that hole. And if they refuse to, then we'll say, well, then you got to leave. You take your choice. You're going to skip this hole to close that gap so everyone else can now catch up.
Yep.
And if you refuse to, then you just have to leave. Or if if you just can't end up playing, you're just going to end up having to leave. But come back at 6:00 at night, do our little 4-hole loop that we do or something like that is a great time for newer golfers to come out and not have that impact. I mean, you want to encourage people to play the game and you want to grow the sport, but
But there's certain places to do that fully and certain places not to.
Right. And we that 4-hole loop that we do at night, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's cheap. It's $19. What a great thing to do to come out with your family or newer golfers to go have the opportunity to play 4 holes at a great golf course and that's a great place to learn.
Yeah. You don't go and Div 1 hockey to learn how to play hockey, right? You start somewhere else. And then that's there are certain golf courses that are more designed and built and operate for the people that are newer to golf. And then there's other courses where it's like, well, if you, welcoming to everyone, but generally it's, if you are a real golfer, this is maybe better for you.
Yeah.
Right. Just like if you're a pretend weather person, you go work for the Weather Network. And if you're a real weather person, you're Josh Classen.
Yes. What did we figure out the site? We're going to talk about it.
spotwx.com.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the potential for a daytime high from the models on Sunday, there's a 12-degree difference, right? Just So whatever that app, whichever one of those runs of the models that app is grabbing, it could be out by as much as 12 degrees. So that's why.
And they're running different models, different outlets. Yeah. They're not.
I can actually potentially see that a little. And hey, I know nothing about nothing. So you can say, no, you're out to lunch on this, and maybe I am. But in the wintertime, I can see that potentially because crazy stuff happens in the winter.
And especially
but
right now when you're on the edge of like a really big pattern change.
Yeah.
Like when we were coming into this big warm up. It's like, okay, well, we know it's going to warm up. It'll be above zero. Is it going to be 5 degrees or is it going to be 10 degrees?
Right.
And so like coming into Sunday, Monday of next week, we know it's going to be colder, but is it going to be like -2 or is it going to be -7?
Right.
So that's the question right now.
Am I correct in my assumption that in the summertime there's less of that?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it's about the same.
Really?
Especially when you have those big pattern changes. Day to day, there's probably a little bit less of a swing,
Right.
But no, you can get big swings.
All right, fine.
Josh, we have a question for you.
Yes.
Comes in from Stamp Hater. It says, has Josh Classen
Hater
ever done any storm chasing? From Stamp Hater, yeah.
No. Usually when there's storms, I have to be at work.
You chase them from inside the studio at CTV. Yeah.
Watch them on the radar. No, I'd love to, but no, I've never gone storm chasing. There's lots of guys that go do tours in the States, but
And dangerous tornadoes and stuff. You see
Sure,
people
yeah.
getting as close as they can with a video. That's cool. But
yeah, and there's a couple of really good storm chasers in Alberta. Prairie storm chasers are great. So yeah, those guys, I'm happy to have them out there, and better them out there feeding me information that I can then disseminate to everybody than me out there not really knowing what I'm looking at.
This is the EST Angle presented by Mott's Clamato Caesar, Tom Gazzola, Marie McCourt, Josh Classen, Matt Iwanyk with you here. Let's get the movers and shakers brought to you by Marco Mike Realty. Let Marco Mike earn your trust. MarcoMike.com for more information on the dynamic duo. They're with Realtor One Group Insider. The Oilers are hot. They've won 16 straight. Not at 16 straight, but 8 straight. It is the Knicks. I said we would talk Knicks for you. Let's let you talk a little Knicks right now. 6 games back of your Celtics.
14 of 16. 14 wins out of 16 games in January.
So not a perfect sweep.
No.
Not a perfect sweep like the Edmonton Oilers.
I agree.
But that's pretty good.
That is unreal. And since the trade, they look like a team that could make a run in the East. Since getting rid of RJ, I'm sad that we lost.
Getting rid of RJ. That's a cold way of looking at that.
Yeah, we got rid of RJ.
Yeah.
We parted ways with IQ, and I hated doing it, but there was no room for him. But I had no idea how good OG Anunoby is until I saw him in a Knicks uniform. Did you know how good OG Anunoby was when he was a Raptor? I had no idea. My dad's a Raptors fan. He's like, he's great. And I'm like, really? This good though?
They had some really good players. I don't know what's gone wrong with the Raptors in that little rebuild after. Like they had that good year after the championship without Kawhi.
Yes.
They still had some really good pieces. I don't know what's happened the last couple of years.
Siakam's looked good in Indiana.
Yeah.
OG looks. Precious had a great night last night.
I always liked him when they were in Edmonton.
Achua?
When they were in Edmonton for the game last year,
Yeah.
I watched him play quite a bit because he played a lot of the second half, and I really enjoyed watching
He's great.
him.
The Knicks are great.
Which is a weird thing to say.
It is.
Yes,
We haven't been able to say that. I'm looking at the standings right now and just seeing them where they are.
They're like one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now.
Oh,
the only problem is that the teams that they're like at the top of the East with are also on fire.
And just
the Celtics
loaded,
are-
though.
Yeah,
Celtics
are
are loaded.
8-2 in their last 10.
Milwaukee's
Bucks
loaded.
are 7-3 in their last 10, even though they made a coaching change.
Yeah.
Knicks and Cavs both 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
That's top 4 of the East.
Yeah, you just can't make up any ground. The Heat have tanked. But
Well-
the Knicks, I don't even care. They're just fun to watch now.
Who in their right mind had the Heat though coming out of the that side of the playoffs
out of
last
the
year?
play-in,
So
yes.
you look at that and you know
culture.
Yeah,
They got a great
culture.
coach.
Sure, it is culture.
No,
And
it's not.
sure.
The Heat.
Well, maybe not with the
Riley
Heat,
and Eric
but culture.
Spoelstra.
The culture is
The
a huge
culture.
part of success, and I think when
And
you're
the culture
talking
was
about
that Eric
Where's the
Spoelstra's
culture
getting a
right now?
divorce, and we're going to hold off on his
Where's
contract
the
extension so that
culture
White
now?
can't
Yeah.
get
So-
anything.
That's a check. That's a checkmate there. Yeah.
That's a
When
Pat
you-
Riley culture thing
Yeah.
of the Heat.
When you look at basketball, it's so different than hockey because the best players in hockey, I mean, sure, you might have a number one defenseman that's playing 25, 26 minutes a night. In basketball, your starting five are probably playing together at least 30 minutes
Yes.
of the night. So the chemistry, the system, like, so a player from this team could look bad because he doesn't have that right chemistry. It's not the right system that fits for him. You plunk him into another spot, and that can change in a big
Which
hurry.
I thought was
So-
going to happen to the Celtics with the changes they made in the offseason
they
last year.
made some
I
huge
didn't
changes,
think
yeah.
Porzingis.
Well,
Oh, Porzingis.
Forget that he was on the Celtics.
Yeah. Do you forget that the Knicks drafted him?
No.
The Porzingis.
I remember he had such a great
Porzingis?
first year and then eventually was traded to the Mavs.
There was a rap song
and then he kind of just went away.
Kristaps Porzingis when they got drafted by the Knicks, and then he just did nothing. But he looks great with the Celtics.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Celtics are loaded.
I know.
They
They're
built a really
loaded.
good program
Yeah.
out there.
But they've made some changes because I mean we got rid of Marcus Smart like that.
I thought that was a bad move.
Well, yeah, because he's such a defensive stud
Yep.
that he's hard makes it hard to score when he's out there. But yeah, it's and the coaching situation with the Celtics too. We had
Yes.
this great coach a couple of years ago, and then he got Corey parried somehow because he did something he shouldn't have done. And
Well, I'll take
off
that
the
before
team,
him.
and-
You had Brad Stevens, who was a really good coach. And he
Absolutely.
chose to step away from being a head coach to move just full time into front office.
Yeah, because he thought, that there's somebody that could do it better. So the guy that he brought in that could do it better was did great. He was an unbelievable coach, but
It was one
He
year.
made
That's
it.
it.
Zoka.
Yeah.
he did something that nobody really knows exactly what he did, but he's no longer there. He's not coached anywhere in the league since. So there's
He's been in
No,
Houston.
he's-
He's in Houston this
Oh,
year.
Is he in
Yeah,
Houston?
they hired
this
him.
year?
Yeah,
So
he was
they-
the big hot coaching candidate this past summer year a little bit.
Okay.
Toronto wanted him, Houston wanted him, and there was someone else that I think wanted him.
Yeah.
And then he chose Houston. Everyone thought he was going to Toronto once Nick Nurse parted ways.
Well, just
And then
like
he
everyone
out of
thought a
nowhere went.
certain guy named Otani was going to Toronto too. Everyone thinks Toronto's landing spot for everybody these days. Hey, so how's he doing in Houston? I'm a
They're a little bit
I'm not
better.
a massive basketball guy like you always are. I wouldn't wear
They're
a
just outside the plane.
Knicks hat, but
They're just outside the plane.
Yeah, okay.
Lakers Knicks
No, they're no
on
good.
Saturday.
I know.
Jeez.
I know.
I'm going to get smoked.
Guaranteed dub.
That's exactly. It's not going to go well.
Well,
Let's start February off on a good note.
Well, it's almost trade deadline.
And we're doing
When-
it without
NBA
Brunson. Or without Randall.
Yeah, what was he called?
See-
what did your buddy call him?
Homeboy.
Yeah, homeboy.
Homeboy got injured.
Trade deadline.
If we
is-
lost Brunson, we'd be screwed. But you can lose Julius Randle for a little while.
Feb
See,
8 next week, trade
this is
deadline.
what,
OG's got to come back, though.
this is what you're a Knicks fan, and you're saying these names that I'm not a big basketball guy. You know
He's
any
a
of
live
these
guy.
guys?
No, I'm smiling
like
politely.
it's kind of like this sounds like a bunch of.
So we were talking before. My buddy was wearing a Knicks jacket.
Yeah.
This weekend.
At their show.
Yeah,
Of
Gin and
course.
Jock.
And,
Yeah.
and so
Winterfest.
I was giving him a hard time because he doesn't watch basketball. He doesn't know anything. And I'm like, okay, well, listen, they're really good this year, but Julius Randle just got injured. Looks like he dislocated his shoulder. He could be out for weeks. We don't know, but it's okay because OG's going to hold it down. We still got Brunson, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets to the club and some guy says to him, hey, I like your Knicks, Jack. Knicks are doing good this year. He goes, yeah, except homeboy got injured the other night.
Oh,
The guy's like,
wow.
what? And he's like, yeah, you know his name.
Oh, wow.
Just
One of
played it
those
off.
guys.
Yeah.
Winterruption, not
See-
Winterfest. Pardon
See,
me.
you
Yeah.
wrapping off all these Knicks guys is having Tommy and I look at each other like you and I were looking at each other when he talks about ironing his clothes. It's
That's true.
It's like, who? What are you talking about right now?
Yeah, I know. And so I'll stop because I'm sure
Wait,
most of
Do
the people
you think
watching
the
right
Knicks can
now
get
are
through
like,
the East?
yes.
You think that because play in, lost to the Bucks, Christmas Day,
I know.
beat down on those Bucks.
I understand, but the
So
team
it's
they
1-1, right?
The team they were before that trade
Yeah.
is not the team they are now.
So if you
so
are
they-
the
they
three
could potentially
seed,
go.
if you're the 3 seed,
Yeah.
you gotta play best of 7. Everyone wins their first round. You go best of 7 with no home court advantage against Milwaukee, And then if you do that, you go best of 7
Assuming
against the Celtics.
assuming that Boston and Milwaukee don't lose their first round.
They're not going to lose their first round. Neither of those. Those teams
No,
are
I,
good.
I understand.
and
they're-
it's the Knicks.
Yes, and so I always have. It's like the Jets. I have a little faith in my teams. I know that they're going to break my heart eventually, but
The Knicks have the ability, I think, to get to at least the conference finals.
yes.
Well, they'd have to beat Milwaukee to do it.
yeah.
And you're wrapping off a bunch of names I never heard of.
Well, you just wait.
Homeboy.
Once you
Homeboy.
you watch them in the playoffs,
Does
though,
he-
you'll be like,
But-
oh,
Does it say Homeboy on
these
his back? His name says Homeboy.
But like in the two big games, you had the play-in tournament. The Bucks beat down on the Knicks,
Yes.
but then on Christmas Day, the Knicks beat down on the Bucks.
Yeah.
So in a best of 7, like that could be a very tight series, and that could come down to Game 7, one shot.
I don't believe in the Bucks.
They made
They
this
just
coaching
made this
change,
coaching
like, which
change.
is
What?
just
I know.
That's crazy.
they were the 3rd best team in basketball at the time, and they're making a coaching change.
Yeah.
Which one? Like, hey, if
Culture.
the coach isn't going well,
Culture.
that makes sense. But there could also just be problems inside the Bucks that don't get
Right.
That's
that
what
people don't know about.
exactly. And that's
Yes.
it's not going to get better, and maybe the Knicks
Yeah.
do something.
Like, you
Trade
look-
deadline though next week. We'll see what moves
So
happen.
culture.
NBA trade deadline's become great the
No,
last few
I
years.
know.
When you talk about culture, I mean, not that I want to switch gears, but Philadelphia Eagles,
Right.
best team in the NFL, and then their dressing room became a freaking train wreck.
Yep.
Because they had no culture.
Is that what happened?
There's a lot of
Absolutely.
talk about how that room did not like each other. And there was
Yes,
a lot of problems in the
absolutely.
room. And so they stopped winning on the field. And it just
Culture
didn't help.
eats strategy
There
for
was
breakfast.
issues around that team.
Yeah.
So the Lakers just need to fire Darvin Ham. I'm just going to
I'm
say
not
that
disagreeing. I just don't buy the Heat culture.
right now. What's wrong with
Well, okay.
I just hate the Heat.
Why do you hate the Heat? How do you hate the Heat? Like they're
Because
just
he's
not,
a Knicks fan.
Yeah,
it's
I know,
just
but that
auto
doesn't-
How
hate.
can I like the
Exactly. That's like how can
Is there a
if
big
you're in
rivalry between the
Edmonton-
Knicks and the Heat?
Well,
You got the whole Pat Riley thing,
Yeah, so
and you
he
got
wins down there.
you got all the Alonzo Mourning beat downs.
But you guys never really like have beaten them.
Oh snap! We're gonna need an after show
oh boy.
after that look. Jasmine Texan says, Josh, where
She
did you
loves
go
it.
to school, or how do you become a meteorologist? Master's science degree, or actually a bachelor's in meteorology? P.S. Nice fit check. Go Knicks.
Thank you. I went to Nate and got broadcasting.
RTA.
Represent.
Because I didn't realize meteorology was a thing. And then I got a job as a weatherman on TV. And so I thought I should figure out what I'm talking
you're
about
talking
on
about.
TV. And so I went to Mississippi State University, and they have a course that was set up for military guys, but then a lot of TV people started taking it as well because you don't have to quit your job and you can get your meteorology degree. So you do 3 semesters a year for 3 years, and then you got your meteorology degree. Corey Adel, our morning show meteorologist, went to U of A and took the meteorology course there. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it.
There is another question that came in from Rusty Shackelford. It says, do you follow Drew Lerner as a long-term weather forecaster? The agriculture community seems to follow him, and he is pretty correct with trends long-term.
No, I don't know who Drew Lerner is.
That's from Rusty
better find out.
Shackelford.
He's Josh Classen. He only
I
focuses
don't,
what Josh Classen does.
You should
I don't-
ask him
yeah.
if he knows Josh Clausen.
Well, I
don't-
hope so.
I don't
But-
place a whole
but that's
lot
like,
of...
Agriculture specific. Although you talk about agricultural stuff, like for farmers and all that, because of our region and how rich agriculturally it is.
He is the founder, president, and senior agricultural meteorologist at World Weather, Inc.
Of course. How do we not know that?
We do now.
And you have a memory like a sponge, so you will remember that name forever.
Anyway, this
That
is
name actually
just the text that came in. People want to know. You
No,
storm
not
chasing,
that I-
you know this
no,
guy. You know,
I'll check out Drew Lerner. Thank you for the heads up on that.
Not that I'm going to hold you.
I don't trust the seasonal forecast, though.
Not that I'm going to hold you to this.
Don't.
But-
You're going to ask for a seasonal forecast after I just said I don't trust seasonal forecasts.
Well, okay, I'm going to ask you the dumbest question in the history of time.
No.
then, because I get asked all the time. When's my golf course going to open?
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right,
You don't know. Depends on the weather.
I know. Exactly.
Well,
I tell people
January 31st. I can't.
I tell people this all the time when they ask me that. I say, if you can tell me exactly what the weather is going to be like between like March 1st forward.
Yeah.
You tell me that.
When's the
then
earliest
I
you've
can
ever
tell-
opened?
March 26th, 2
March
years
26th.
2 years ago.
ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Can we just
You
look
might
at the
be-
course and like the
You might be close this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
think?
because there's hardly any snow.
Yeah.
Like it'd take a week of yesterday's weather, and,
and
we'd
it would
be
all
pretty
be
much
gone.
ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what we get.
Well, there's those Calgary courses that
Early
opened in
March,
December. Was it December? Yeah. It was December for like 2 days.
Yeah,
Public
like,
courses
what-
open for
what
a day or two or
what
something
a
because it got to like
weird,
13
weird
degrees.
Yeah.
winter. Yeah,
It's been
not
Yeah,
normal.
well, and like we were saying before we started recording, where we went on air, it's going to be a tough year, I think, for golf courses around
farmers,
the for farmers, for everybody.
Yeah, there's
Water
just not enough
shortages are going to
moisture.
be a big
Yeah,
issue
absolutely.
this year. So
well, there's the two parts. There's the water shortage, which will be tough, but then there's also the potential of fires
Oh,
that are going to cause
Should
problems
be.
in our
And then people
province
don't
too,
wanna-
and overall just for a lot of different things.
Yep.
Like
You
it's
don't
not
wanna-
prime
you don't wanna go
conditions for a
outside
very
in-
favorable
yes.
summer in those senses.
Yeah. When
So
that-
hopefully that changes somehow over the next couple of months, but right now it doesn't look like it's.
when that alert came yesterday, and it started with, "Oh, there's a fire," and I'm like, "What? It's 12 degrees. There's already a forest fire."
Well,
There's a
know.
couple.
Yeah.
And
There's
then-
a couple still burning at the moment.
Yeah.
Active fires from
Really?
the summer that
Oh.
just haven't been able to be put out. Like it's not like it's raging
smoldering
massively, but there's
underground.
still, yeah.
Wow,
That's
crazy.
that's the type of
That's not
winter
good.
we've had. Colin Smith is making the prediction. Golf course opens April 16th. We might actually have to do a full contest.
That's a normal
Predict.
opening. That's a
So he's-
normal opening. I always
taking it
say
very
between
conservatively.
April 15th to April 20th is 100% normal. Anything later than that is a kick in the teeth to
first
us.
week of April, I'm calling it.
Yeah, first week is
First
yeah,
week of
yeah,
April.
I like it.
Yeah, so pre or post Masters. That's what. So pre Masters for you.
Yes.
Wow.
I like it. See, I like
Masters
you.
usually
I like
is that
you,
time where
Josh.
you get the itch to be like,
Yeah.
I want to go
And
golfing
then
after watching that. But if you
everybody's
can
out
go
there and-
before,
Yes.
that would be great.
It's like when Wimbledon is on, and then you can't get on the tennis courts because everybody watched Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should go play tennis.
I never
Masters
experienced
is
that problem.
Yeah.
I don't go play
how about
tennis.
they-
I've just never gone.
with your shoulder.
I could try being a lefty.
You might be good as a
I got to go
lefty.
to actually. I played bowling this weekend, 5-pin. Got a couple strikes left-handed. I was
Really?
pretty happy with
Wow,
myself.
that is
I
impressive.
was not expecting. Got over 100 both times. I was
You're
like, that's,
ambidextrous.
I'll take
now.
that a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
No. So
You could play on the Knicks. All the Knicks are left-handed.
Well, and he's probably not
they?
that good, so he could play on the Knicks.
Almost all of them.
really, maybe that's what's gonna lead them to the title.
Yeah,
You,
lefties.
you.
Teams are going to be so confused
Lefties.
by this lefties that they're all of a sudden going to come
all
and dominate. I'm actually like, because the Knicks are good, it makes me sad that RJ Barrett actually isn't there because I wanted a Canadian. Like, I always
That's-
want the Canadians to do
right.
well. So when he got traded away from the Knicks, I'm like, okay, the Knicks are a good team this year. And I'm like, that the Canadian.
I know. I
And
hate
so-
to say it though. Like
But at least we saw a Canadian win
they
it
got
last
a
year.
lot better when they got rid of him.
Well, and it seemed that actually was a trade that just, I think overall everyone said both teams did well.
Yep.
The
Which
Raptors,
trade?
yes,
Oh.
RJ Barrett to the
Oh.
Raptors and OG to the Knicks and all the pieces that went with it. That like RJ's perfect for the Raptors. He's actually played really well for the Raptors since
Yeah.
that trade himself. Everyone got good things. Raptors get a player that's a little more under control as well with RJ Barrett in his contract. So it was just like a good win all around.
Yeah.
Quickly's Raptors fans are going to love Emmanuel Quickly.
We'll see if Masai can get it done and bring the Raptors
Yeah.
back to where they are. What are you laughing at over there
Has
so much?
Nothing to do with our show.
Oh, okay.
Something, an interaction with the good folks at the Bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Which good
We all
folks?
know them.
The morning people or
I'm pretty sure McCourt or UConn just ripped me for something that just put out yesterday. I did, we don't need to get into it.
I'm always intrigued which one. I'm gonna guess.
laughing.
I'm gonna
I'm
guess
just
it's
like-
McCourt that put that out there.
Yes.
Super Bowl Sunday, EST will be at Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, which is February 11th. Chance to win EST merch, a spot on the Hangout, and much more. Renee was on the Hangout earlier this week, laying out all the stuff she has for us to give away that day. 6 o'clock or lager in stock. Be sure to call and book a table because things are filling up. You don't want to just show up and all of a sudden have no table and you're having
Do you
to
have to pay
stand
for the
around.
table before you?
No, I think you could just reserve the table. That's maybe
Don't
we'll
have
have,
to-
maybe
don't
I'll
have
have to
to put
call
a
Renee
deposit?
right now. I'm like, hey, hold on a second. We just learned from her. No, you got to put a credit card down.
Yeah.
Centric
Otherwise,
Casino
no one
Sports
will
Bar and
show
Lounge,
up.
Fort Road. Be sure to check it out. KC 49ers. Who's pulling this one off? You obviously are going to be against the 49ers, I'm assuming. Cowboys fan. We had DVD on yesterday. He's a Cowboys fan. He says he hates the 49ers. Can't cheer for them.
Yeah, of course you hate the 49ers, but I don't know. Like, Sean, our head pro of the ranch, he's a big KC fan, so I'll go on KC's bandwagon just to support him, but I'm not really that interested, to be honest. It's not a very intriguing appeal. If Detroit would have got in there, I would have kind of loved it as a fun story, but I'm not really intrigued by the Super Bowl. Like, I might not even watch it or just follow it a little bit. I don't think I'm not that
You'll
interested.
be watching Live instead.
I might watch I'll choose the Super Bowl.
Final
over
round
that.
in Vegas.
Yeah.
Tommy, who you got?
No, it's on a Saturday.
I am going to go with the Niners. I really am looking forward and hoping for Brock Purdy to win a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Like, I know he's a system quarterback and all that, but I love the story of it. And I'm with Murray. I don't think it's like a super intriguing Super Bowl. Like, I did want to see the Lions break through, and if the Ravens got in, I would have been like, yeah, that's great.
Taylor Swift makes it a little more appealing. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, like it's a neat wrinkle. The stuff that's being said about her is stupid, but everybody's talking about it. But yeah, I want to see. I like the story of Brock Purdy. I legitimately think that's a phenomenal sports story, and I'm rooting for him. And when I watch the Chiefs and the Niners, I'm like, here we go again. These two teams, and that's a credit to them being so good for so long and restocking the shelves. But yeah, I'm going with the Niners, and I want to see my boy, the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas, celebrate and be joyful after a tough football season for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Before you guys, I want
I
to say
think there's a big story that matters to me in this one.
Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. I realize it's not just a quarterback thing, but my goodness, Patrick Mahomes wins that battle. And San Francisco is so good because they're paying their quarterback $1 million, where every other team in the league, well, not every other team, but most other legitimate teams are paying their quarterback $45-50 million.
They've been able to spread that money around right now.
Your roster can be a lot better when you're paying your quarterback $1 million.
But don't you wish you could do that, where you don't have to overpay for a quarterback and you got a guy that delivers and has an unreal record? Like, they caught
imagine
lightning
if
in
a
a
team
bottle
in here
with him.
went with the quarterback who's a little bit younger and cheaper, as opposed to spending $500,000 on a guy who's not as good.
Hey,
yes, well done.
Sorry.
So, but now Brock Purdy, I believe his contract has to get extended or dealt with at the end of this year. So he's going to get minimum $40 million, and you watch how many players are going to they're going to have to chop from their team, and San Francisco will look a little different next year.
Lightning in a bottle.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
The reason there's a big intrigue for me is because if Pat Mahomes gets this ring, he's on track to beat Tom Brady in terms of rings and Super Bowl appearances and stuff. And are we watching now somebody who's going to be better than Tom Brady? Because he's got more playoff wins than Tom Brady at this point in his career. Same amount of Super Bowl appearances, I think it would be.
Hasn't cheated.
No, it'd be more Super Bowl. No, same amount, I think.
exactly.
I would think, but like there's a lot, and you hate Tom Brady.
I hate Tom Brady too.
But it's one of those, like, we look at Tom Brady and go, greatest. He was at 10 Super Bowls, won 7 of them. Well, Pat Mahomes might win his 3rd Super Bowl already at 28.
Yeah.
And that's like, so what's the path to Pat Mahomes? This is the start of greatness. He gets this done. Like, it's very much on the table. He could go be better than Tom Brady in terms of the numbers. Now, the question was, I saw one person say that they might think Pat Mahomes will go down even without the rings as the greatest, like the Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods debate. Some people will say Jack has more. He's got more majors, but Tiger's the greatest and stuff. And is that going to be the situation where we're going to look Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes at the end, where Pat maybe has 1 or 2 less, but go, he's probably better than Tom Brady. But that's the intrigue to me. He gets this done. We're watching, like, maybe the 2nd greatest quarterback, if not the greatest quarterback, like Joe Montana, but the other guy I'd throw in there. And that's the intrigue for me, unless he falls.
Are you in DVD, Dak Prescott?
Well, think about how many great quarterbacks.
He's also a Mississippi State alum.
Yes.
Go Bulldogs.
But it's
Me
like,
and Dak.
how many great AFC quarterbacks have not been able or might not be able to get to a Super Bowl right now because Pat Mahomes is there?
Who's beating him? Brady and Burrow in the playoffs, right? Those are the 2 QBs he's lost to in the postseason.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who you got, Josh?
I don't care.
Like, legitimately,
Who's your team?
out of sight, out of mind, you're
Jets.
watching live.
He thought they were going to win the division this year, and then that
you
went
can't
away.
tell
I'm
me-
just saying.
you can't tell me.
They just went away in the first quarter.
Yeah,
If
first-
that hadn't
his
happened,
second
you can't
play,
tell me
yeah.
they wouldn't have won the division.
Yes, I can.
No.
You can't tell me they're better than the Bills.
They are better than the Bills.
No.
Yes.
I am not taking this Aaron Rodgers ahead of Josh Allen.
I don't care. You saw how good that team could be. All they needed was a competent quarterback. They would have had 4 more wins. They would have won the division. I'm not saying it's going to happen next year.
What did
'cause
their
I don't know
record
what's-
end up being this year?
7 wins?
Yeah, 7 wins. So
And Miami and Buffalo.
See, I
In that
think they
division.
could have
Some of
got
those 4
after watching the
extra
season.
wins-
I could think they could have beat Miami. I will give
For
you that.
sure.
Guaranteed that one. I can't
2
say
of those wins would have come against those 2 teams.
I do not believe that they were better than the Bills.
They're better than the Bills.
No, not this
The
year.
Jets.
7
Yes.
wins. Buffalo
They got a better
11
defense,
wins.
a better running game. All you needed was you have better receivers. All you need is a competent quarterback.
Bills are pretty good, man.
No. Yeah, they're good. They're not as good as the Jets would have been. The Jets just
don't know,
needed
man.
a quarterback. A competent quarterback.
Can I go into the nasty chat right now? What is this guy talking about?
After watching what the Bills did, like the Bills had so many injuries this year. They're better than the Jets.
No.
Straight up.
Nope. Not even
Well,
close.
you don't.
You can't tell me
can't-
this. The
yeah,
Bills
you have
had
nothing
so
to
many
back up your
injuries this year
comment.
themselves. They were decimated in so many different areas, and they still won the division.
How many different offensive line combinations did the Bills have to run out?
I have no idea. I'm not that good of a Bills fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a Bills fan. I'd have to
ask
ask Eric
Eric.
or
Yeah.
Yaremchuk.
I don't think it was 11 straight
Renee.
games with a different offensive line combination.
Yeah.
They lost so many defenders.
Injuries happen to everybody.
Well, the Bills though had like such a year where it was incredible how many guys that they lost, and they still found a way to win the division. They have Josh Allen. Josh Allen would find a way to win that division over the New York Jets.
Easy.
After watching this season, I'm still would have taken the Bills this year, even if you guys had a competent quarterback.
And your competent
your
quarterback
opinion's
is aging, and I don't know.
No, I'm not all in on Aaron Rodgers. Believe me, I don't know. I don't think he's the answer. I don't know that next year. This was the year. I don't know. I don't think next
Are
year.
you still on the coach, Salah?
Yeah.
Because we had Michaud on a few weeks ago, and he's like already to like he's like he could start seeing why that maybe Salah's not the coach to get the Jets to the next level.
I know. I like Robert Saleh.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think Joe, but the draft will be big this year for Joe.
Always is. NFL's drafts compared to other sports is
Huge. Right?
huge.
I think
yeah.
it's in Cleveland this year or something like that. I don't know. I forgot where it is now.
No.
It's gone too big.
What's
Yes,
that?
yes,
It's gone
yes.
too big.
Well, man, when my Cowboys got the guy that just broke the NFL record for
That
most
was
pick
incredible.
sixes in a season in the 5th round,
Yep.
the NFL
went-
draft
oh,
is
wow.
important. It is very, very, very important because that's what you get.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Smitty the Welder chimes in. Purdy's contract status, he's eligible for an extension in 25, needs a new deal by 26.
So they got 2 more years potentially of
Well,
Brock Purdy at that.
okay. So next year in 25. So at the end of next season.
2 seasons because we're going into 24.
Okay, he's
24.
not playing in that 26 season for $1 million.
No.
No.
not a
Because then
chance.
he gets a choice. So if he's stuck to his deal for next year, then San Francisco's a contender again next year, big time. But then so it'd be one more after that. But he's not playing in that extra year for $1 million.
No chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
They
if they have
got
another huge year.
if he wins this year, they got to pay him.
Well, yeah,
I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, and NFL contracts he can say to the team at the end of this year, they win a Super Bowl, he can say, I'm not playing. You pay me.
Could
Right.
they not renegotiate his contract and make it like a progressive? Like, all right, here's the full amount. Say here's 150 mil for 6 years.
NFL
whatever.
contracts
and then,
are so complicated and convoluted, and how they work that. But ultimately, he's got to get paid
gonna get
40 million plus 45 million plus for sure. And because he can just say, well, I'm holding out. I'm not going to play until you pay me. And San Francisco has to pay him because
Do they?
he's that good.
no,
Well,
somebody else will.
Because
though.
I'll say that like they've done it with other quarterbacks too. I could see John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan sitting there going, "Oh, you don't want it? Okay, we'll get another quarterback. We're good. Hold out, have fun." Good luck. You sit for the year. We're going to bring someone else in. Cheap. We still got Deebo Samuel. We still got George Kittle. We still have Christian McCaffrey. We'll plug in someone else here.
Cowboys will trade him Trey Lance back for a first rounder. Yeah, perfect.
That's where like I could see them maybe trying to do that and having some. Hernan Salas, who you mentioned, he follows a lot of the 49ers media and stuff, and I guess the media is constantly ripping Brock Purdy, which I could feel like that's coming from maybe the organization too, in a sense. So maybe like the organization's like, yeah, you're great, we love you. We're not paying you until we have to pay you.
Right.
So if you want it sooner, that's cool. You could sit out. You could hold out. That's all cool.
$1 million. You can't win a Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl again this year and
not
only
reward it?
get rewarded. I mean, $1 million in the NFL, that's a pittance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the reason they're doing it. So you sit there and go, well, we don't have to pay you, so we're not going to because we're going to keep building a team to win the Super Bowl.
though.
And then they just
Then he goes to the other league.
UFL or whatever.
500 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Then he's got paid up front, so he's not going to play hard. He doesn't care anymore because he got his money up front.
Well, he could come to the CFL
You were
and
bitter.
offer his services. He could offer his services to the Edmonton Elks, but Chris Jones is saying, you know what?
Okay.
I think you're a little young still. I'm going to get this old guy to come in and play.
I don't think the Elks are doing anything on the offensive line at this moment.
Draft is upcoming. The free agency
They
is
have all
upcoming.
5 guys signed.
Coming back. Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You bring in an older quarterback who can't move. You have an offensive line that you're running back with that
Rolling it
struggled
back.
last year. That is a recipe for disaster
Well,
this season.
do they not just get a new O-line coach?
They haven't announced their coaching staff yet.
Yeah, I think maybe they did. I know. That's a tough one.
I'm not happy with the team right now.
No.
I can tell
I'm not happy
people
with
are
Chris
with you
Jones
on
right
that
now.
one.
I have a meeting with them on lunch meeting on Friday with the Elks, so
Let him
You
know
tell
that
him.
he's not happy.
well,
Yes.
I'm with Maddie. Maddie and I have been Trey Ford fans together on the show since day one, and
It doesn't make any sense not to start him this year. But
And for both football and business
Yes,
perspective.
exactly.
The business perspective, we all know
Yeah,
it.
it
We
makes
can
no
see
sense.
it.
Yeah.
The football side is there was nothing that he showed last year that says he couldn't be the starter this year.
yeah,
That he can't potentially
exactly.
develop into being
Makes
someone.
no sense.
And he saved Chris Jones' job, and Chris Jones repaid him by going, here, sit on the bench. I'm going to bring in McLeod Bethel Thompson.
And now trade rumors to BC. I saw the other day. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Be a disaster if they trade him. I will not be happy
Oh.
if that day comes. For agency, February 13th, we will have full coverage right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Sunday, actually, though, it's the tampering period. All because of Ed Hervey signing Odell Willis a number of years ago at 10:01. That they now have a tampering period, so we'll start.
So they
hearing
make
where-
that legal now.
Now there's the legal talking to, and there's a lot of running backs that aren't signed right now, so we'll see where those guys are going to bounce around to. And
Well, isn't it like AJ Willett, No, not Dembski.
Dembski, I don't think is signed.
Oliveira.
Oliveira's not signed. I think Butler's not signed.
Yeah.
Stanback's now
Stanback got
released.
released.
Kadeem Carey's free agent. The Elks don't need a running back.
No,
They got
don't
Kevin
need a
Brown,
running
but
back.
it's like every other team almost now needs a running back because
Be a
their
running back
is now.
carousel.
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah.
go on.
What-
But the Elks are solid there. And then that one offensive lineman from Saskatchewan that everyone thought we would go after.
Anthony Lanier.
He just signed.
Yep.
So that stings.
AC Leonard's not signed for the D line.
Well, somehow,
Their two
some
best
way,
defensive linemen were AC Leonard and Jake Seresnan last year, and it doesn't look like either are coming back.
yeah, they got to do
Not good.
something significant there. Significant. That's where their money's got to go. Is that D line?
Well-
By all accounts, it's gonna be a relatively quiet day for the Elks. Now they said that last year,
And
and,
then
they
they
went
made
and got
noise.
Eugene Lewis. So not that quiet. They spent
Hey.
big coin to get the number one
Do-
free
do
agent,
you
wide receiver free
actually-
agent, but
Saying in the public, in the media, that you're going to have a quiet free agency is just playing it up. So
Smokescreen.
Yeah, smoke screens. That's
but I just don't know where the like again. This is where the CFL screws us up because we
released-
don't know a cap
right.
situation.
They've released a
But
bunch of veterans, so
They
gotta
did,
have
but they
some
also
money.
signed McLeod Bethel Thompson, and they still have to pay $100,000 to Taylor Cornelius.
Yeah. On that D line, they brought in Robert Kim Ditchy that played for the Cardinals. I think he was a first rounder.
Yeah.
I liked him when he was a Cardinal, but apparently he's kind of a different cat. So we'll
They
see.
signed a defensive lineman that played yesterday. That played for like 3 or 4 different NFL teams and like had some decent numbers. So and he's still 27, 28. I saw like But then last year, I don't even remember their names. They signed 2 defensive backs that had played for Kansas City Chiefs. And then I don't think either of them ended up making the team. They signed them in the offseason last year. I was like, whoa, this could be pretty good because they both won a Super Bowl. And then they're going to be in
different game.
And they weren't. Yeah.
It's a very different game up here, especially if you're playing the D line. You got the waggle and the receivers coming at you
Yeah.
with the full speed as opposed to having to just come at the snap of the ball.
And jam them on the line and all that.
Changes a lot for that.
It does, for sure.
It's I love the CFL. I'm going to be sad when the NFL is over because there'll be no football until. Are you going to be all in on the UFL?
No.
Okay, I thought maybe with
Well,
football,
yeah,
it'd
no,
be-
because you're all in on all the other garbage
Goofy.
leagues and goofy
Corn Ferry Tour,
teams.
Corn Ferry Tour.
Goofy teams. But okay, but
I will
was
watch part of the UFL, but
You will?
I love football. That if it's on my TV, I'll stop and watch it for a few
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm
100%.
intrigued.
Okay.
It's not going to be like I'm going to know all the teams and like want to buy their apparel. Like what's your team? From
Legion 13.
Legion 13.
St. Louis Battlehawks.
I'm not
St.
gonna be
Louis
getting
Battlehawks.
set to buy a Houston whatever apparel
Yeah,
or
I
anything.
hear
It's
ya.
cheer for
'Cause-
Stephen Dunbar for down there. No.
and people would look at you, what the heck is that? You're like, oh,
Although that does intrigue me
Yeah.
to have some of those
yeah.
things
Yeah.
and have weirdness, but
yeah.
I watched way more AAF than I thought I would. It was weird.
It's because you're single and a bachelor and like you got nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
that was the
Alliance
first
of American
Alliance of
Football.
that Tom Dundon bought eventually. And it was a few years. It was before the XFL returned.
Yeah.
It was the year before.
Yeah,
I missed that.
It was
completely.
it
They
barely
had-
lasted. I don't know if it got through its first
No, it
season.
shut down.
It shut down.
Tom
yeah.
Dundon bought it during the first
for
year.
the software.
For the software. It
Yes.
played for a few more weeks, then he just shut it down.
Yeah.
And then the next year, the XFL launched, and then they shut down because of COVID. And then
Now it's back.
we had
with
the
Spring League
USFL,
/
and we had the
USFL.
XFL, and now they're together because it's
Yeah.
the UFL.
And they've got network behind it.
But I don't think they're getting any money from the networks. Like I think it's just like here's the game, air
Yeah.
it type thing. I don't
Yeah.
think there's a broadcast deal that they have with Fox
Yeah.
or ESPN.
And both XFL 2.0 and AAF had network contracts. They
I don't
had
think no
network.
AAF. It wasn't. I think they were
was
paying.
CBS.
I think they were paying CBS. They
Well,
never
wasn't the head of CBS's son one of the owners of or founders of the
potentially.
AAF?
I don't think any of those teams or leagues have ever actually gotten full broadcast rights outside of the first XFL, maybe
Wow.
back when Vince first launched it in the early
On
2000s.
Fox.
We've spent a lot of
on
time
Was it
today
NBC?
talking
Because
about garbage
NBC,
leagues.
that's
because
right.
they
That's
almost
We have.
they almost stopped the start of an SNL episode because there was an XFL game that was running late on a Saturday. It went to overtime or something, and it was going to run into Saturday Night Live. And Lorne Michaels was pissed because he's like, "We're not SNL starts when SNL starts" type
Yeah.
thing. And I don't know if in the end they actually cut away to Saturday Night Live and didn't. I think that's what happened, and then they couldn't finish the XFL game because Saturday Night Live had to be started. So it was NBC. That's the only reason I know it. Lorne Michaels was pissed off. Don't piss off Lorne Michaels.
No. Not over the XFL.
So I know it's getting close to the end here. Now, Josh, my wife and I have been listening to 91.7 in the mornings for a long time. So Pepper and Dylan show.
Yep.
And so I have like a bit of a friendship relationship with Pepper. So
Yeah.
watch
Bill's
the show a
fan.
lot. Now, you have a crazy talent because they play some of your music on the 91.7 with
Yep.
your rap songs and stuff like that. Like, you got some mad talent, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah. Robbie and I and my buddy RJ in the last couple of years, but we haven't done a whole lot. Now that they work for a competing media
You can't
conglomerate,
really work
we don't
together
really
like you do.
cross over as
But-
much as we did when we worked all together. But yeah, we got lots of Halloween songs and a couple Christmas songs.
But
and-
so where is that? I'm curious. I mean, you're the weather guy, but do you actually go and perform, or
So
is this just a hobby? Like, what's that all about?
I'm not a weatherman that raps. I'm a rapper that does the weather.
Yes.
Ah, is that the way it works?
Yeah, so that's what I did from the time I was 15, 16 years old. So
All
Just had
rap?
a show this weekend.
Yes.
He's got some albums.
You gotta,
They just did a show this weekend.
where?
a Double Dragon as part of Winterruption. So
It's on Jasper.
Really?
It
Iwanyk
used to
was
be
there.
called the Needle.
Yeah.
And it I actually really like the Needle setup, but now they've broken up into two. So there's a bar on one side, and then to the back you have to get into Double
so
Dragon.
Foo's Repair
Yes.
Shop the restaurant has both sides during the day. And
Do they,
then
it still opens up?
Yeah, and then at night they close the
okay.
wall.
'Cause-
They split the two, and then you have to enter, so you can't get there through.
At the
food.
Needle, when it was the Needle, it was like opened, and you still came
Right.
through the front, and it was
Yeah.
it was different.
Now
I,
you
I
come
went to
through
the
the back
front, and I was like standing there, and I'm seeing all this stuff for the thing, and I got to the front. I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong spot. And I'm like, I know, like, are you double dragging? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, you gotta go to the back. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought I went to like the wrong establishment completely,
no.
and then like I had my ticket out. And I'm like, this is awful. But it was a great show. You guys brought out the band.
Yeah, we did bring out Brass Tactics for the last
Nicely
last song.
done. I saw that.
We had a little choir join us for. We were supposed to have 5 or 6 of them, but
Oh, really?
only 2 could make it. So
They were great.
they were great.
They had great voices.
Yes, yeah. Rewo and Enoch.
So just
yeah,
rap,
so
or
that's-
you
No, yeah, I don't sing.
okay? And so
Iwanyk would have heard me try to sing a little bit at this show.
I really. It was like the first time I ever went to like a rap show in my life, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
really,
It was great.
do you?
Well, we're old now, right? Like, we're not trying to get signed to a label. We're not trying to be something we're not. We're
Just
just
having
we just
fun.
have fun with it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so most of our songs are kind of upbeat.
And you write your
Yes, you
yeah.
have to write your own stuff. So that's which is how I started, right? Like
Right.
I've always been more of a writer than anything else. So yeah, I've been writing my little raps since I was 16 years old, and
Holy.
bought Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet, and that album changed my life. And I was like, I love this.
Oh, that's pretty cool to have
So,
a
yeah,
little
and
hobby of hobby of a passion.
And
That's
now
fun.
that's all my kids do is music. My oldest son is putting another album out, I think, in a week.
Wow.
Cool.
Because you can do it now from home, right? Like, with all you need is a laptop, and you
Yeah.
can make your beats, and you can record, and you don't actually have to go into a big studio. And so my youngest raps and sings. And my middle son plays in a band, and like a post-punk band.
Damn.
Does not like rap all that much. He goes the other way, so that's fine.
Whatever.
Name of
Yeah,
the band
they're all-
again, and how could people hear it?
Oh, if you go to Jing and Jock, JINGNJOC, on Instagram is probably the easiest way to find it. So yeah, Jing and Jock.
Any more shows planned? Do you have any idea?
We don't have anything lined up just yet, but I'm sure.
I like the yet part.
I'm sure
'Cause it sounds like
It's
there's
coming.
some,
It's
there's
coming.
some wheels
Hustling.
spinning. There's a couple of things happening.
I'm sure maybe we'll try
Yeah.
and put something together. So yes,
I do recommend it. It was a lot of fun. So
good.
I will come to the next one if I can too, easily.
I would
Well,
like to
tell-
come as
tell
well.
me
I'll tell you. Next time I'll be more clear and
be
just like,
explicit
hey Josh,
about the fact
I
that-
am actually gonna
Yeah.
be there. I will
I'll
see you today.
see
Yeah,
you
I
at
screwed
the
that up.
show.
I screwed that
I'll
up big
see
time.
you there later.
Yeah,
I'm coming with.
But
Okay, good.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we'll all go golfing this summer too.
Yeah, we will.
First week of April.
well,
Yes.
I won't be
Calls
there.
it.
I know you.
I'll come just in the cart and give you
caddy.
guys drinks
You
and a
and,
caddy. I'll
Lieutenant
bring my
Eric.
rangefinder out and be like, I'll give you
Perfect.
Yeah,
distances.
you be the
Perfect.
caddy.
I'll do all of that.
We do have
I'll tell you
GPS
what clubs.
though. Fancy new GPS.
You actually have
coming
the
this year.
best GPSs
We have
too,
fancy
because
new GPS coming.
But
this
you
year.
also your
Ooh.
course tells you to the hole.
Yes.
Most courses do it center of the green.
Yes.
Yours is actually specific to wherever you move the hole to.
So long
which is
as,
so important.
So long as the guy that set the hole put it on the chart properly, and then the person that when he gives the charts to the pro shop staff, that they put it in the right spot. You know, it still couldn't be man error on that.
Sounds like
But-
there might be something that's happened in the past.
Once or twice, yeah.
You're supposed to say
It's a
it is
story.
airtight. It's never
No,
wrong.
it's
Yeah.
that's my favorite part because it is
To the pin.
it's to the pin as
Yeah.
opposed to just center of the green. And anyone that wants to know center of the green, you just click it and it tells you the center of the green if that's the way you want to go. But
Yeah.
you don't have to guess.
Yeah, because if it's just to the center of the green, you still got to use your laser anyways.
If you're trying to, if you're
Yeah.
pin hunting. I try to pin hunt.
Chuck
It
some
never
darts.
goes well.
It never goes
It never
well.
works the way I want to. I'm
Yeah.
way too good in my mind that it never
Curse
works
like
the
a
other way.
sailor.
Yeah, that's what I do. Don Ellis saying, I learned Josh is a rapper. I recall he did a sick rhyme the last time he was on the Hangout. That a boy. I actually have that beat I need to send to you.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Hey.
send it
if
to
that'd
me
be great.
then
And
I'll
you're
record
actually,
it
I
properly.
heard you're working, like you are working on something for the Whale Boys.
Oh yeah,
well,
I have a. Well, I just wrote a little blurb for like they've got a dead spot in their song M, and so yeah, I wrote something. I just haven't. I was supposed to record it when I was at the studio last week, and I didn't have a chance.
I like
Oh,
the
that's gonna
song.
be real
M.
cool.
I don't like
It's a
that
great
they slowed
song.
it down though, because they used to play it faster.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, Lucas, figure that out. Tom
They're-
doesn't like it.
They're in the back room there hiding.
Well, we'll go talk to them.
speed
after.
up
Throw
those
something down.
BPMs.
Throw something down quick before we have to sign off here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
going
we
to put
still
you
got
on
a few
the
minutes.
spot for that.
Oh, you got something. You did a show last week. You can do something from your show.
I
I
got
didn't
a
do
lot
this
of
to you.
personas. Hip hop author, father of 3, and a degree in weather phenomena. The sky scholar, guy rocking a blue suit and tie on your monitor. The one your grandmama love. Never divide, but I conquer. I'm high tide, the sidewalk chalk talk as you're washed up. Sipping rye, ice and water, while I'm knocking out the New York Times Sunday crossword. You in a ride, get in the car, partner. I'm parked outside by 2 Rottweilers barking. Probably should have taken the hybrid flying carpet. I'm trying to keep my carbon emission below target. The way I spit these flows is so startling. How you gonna get these horses back in the barn again? Big business, E&P at the market. Can't believe my bit of butter's better than margarine. Got a house with a sick yard and a garden. Ensuite, big as my whole old apartment. It's the omnipotent kicking that cold jargon. Classic rap scripture written on old parchment.
Wow.
Well done. Well done.
That was incredible. Wow.
Boys, the boys are loving
Good on
it.
you, Josh.
Wow.
That is amazing. 2 for 2 now for
Nailed
Josh
it.
coming on.
On the spot. That was
But
great.
yeah,
out
send me that beat.
I will.
We'll
Viz.
do
That
it.
was it was really well done. Thanks, gents, for joining us on the Hangout today. This was a lot of fun. We got to talk your Knicks finally. A lot of live golf talk. So we'll connect you guys
That's what
for the
everybody
VIP golf
wants.
show.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Knicks talk and live golf talk.
Wow.
And
Everyone was ready to
Josh
turn on
Sanders
to
like this
EST
and
for
the
that.
Weather Network bashing.
Yes.
Coming up next, it is the Log Shop. Dusty and Huss. They will get you set for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am bets. I don't know if they have any live golf bets to throw. Maybe Huss does. But that's coming up on the
You
Log
can't bet
Shop.
on live because of the.
Are you sure it's not on?
Because
I
no
don't
one
know.
cares.
I'd have to look at Cool Bet. I don't know if Cool
that's-
Bet has
That's the
anything or
biggest
not.
problem right now with live. The biggest problem is it's tough to bid on.
Noon. Noon. It is the oil stream with Tommy as well as Dusty. I was just trying to see if I got it on Cool Bet. I got live odds on Cool Bet. Cool Bet's the way to go.
Who's the favorite? Who's the
Rom is
favorite?
the favorite to win at plus 450. Then Neiman at plus 1200 is the next one. Bryson at plus 1400. So
Bryson. If
Cool Bet,
Bryson's
baby.
the third favorite,
Cool Bet's got you covered always. But yeah, Lock Shop next, Oil Stream after that. On behalf of Tommy, Murray, Josh, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout on this Wednesday. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes.